Hello and welcome to this week's episode of Talking Skritt. I'm your host John, better known as Deo, around Yakspan. We fantastic show for you. Bound by Blood Prologue goes live. More War We World profession balance changes, kind of tweaks and stuff like that, letting us know. And the Icebrood Saga contest for some pretty awesome prizes and much more. But first, let me introduce you to my fellow host. She writes for MMORPG.com and editor over at Virtually Interrupted, and also her own site, MMORly.com. Going back to Charlands and an insane metal concert, you can probably see her start a mosh pit with her mighty roar. Say hello to Robin.
Yay! Mosh.
That was actually really good. I like that intro.
That was a good one. I like it.
Like we were talking pre-show, maybe instead of using Bram's voice for some of the char, they should get your roars in there. There you go.
There you go.
And also you can find her streaming over on Twitch, telling her thoughts on Twitter, or even her own website, kitthetraveler.com. When I hop into a dune roller for the Destruction Derby, I imagine taking that bad boy out into the world, taking it on crazy adventures, maybe even outfitting it with an Insurant technology to give it an AI. I would name mine after our resident Tyrian traveler. Say hello to Kit.
Hello.
No, they would never do that. Why would they ever name a car Kit? I mean, they would never name a talking car Kit. That'd be crazy.
Dumb.
That would be crazy. It'd probably self-destruct because I crashed too much.
Let us jump right into it. So, in case you are worried and you have not played Bound by Blood yet, the new epilogue that just dropped on Tuesday, we are going to try to do it as spoiler-free as possible at the beginning part, and then basically we'll go through the show as normal. And then after Community Corner, we'll kind of give a quick outro for people that want to pop away, and then we'll give a little bit of warning. That'll be your time to move away, get away from spoilers and whatnot, and then we'll kind of go into talking about the story and stuff more freely and openly. So, but yeah, and if chat can also try to do that as well, we always greatly appreciate it. But yeah, let us jump into it.
Bed thief will come after you, so you better behave.
Yes.
And it is spoilers in regard to this, because I don't want chat to be like, because literally it's kind of leading up to it. They're talking about the Elder Dragon Krakatorg is dead. If you haven't known that by now, don't know what to tell you.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah. Basically it's revolving around the celebration of kind of Krakatorg being dead. We kind of had the Dragon Bash thing, but the Char kind of doing their own thing, and we have gone to the new map. What is it, Grothmar Valley? Mm-hmm. And it's basically an all-Legion rally in the Blood Legion homelands. And they're kind enough to invite, the Pact and whatnot to join them. But
yeah, there's one part where the guy was talking to the commander, and he's like, "Well, I guess you helped kill Krakatorg." I'm like, "Helped? Are you kidding?"
Right?
Like, that's it.
We're deep into that mess. Thank you.
I know. I was like, I wish I could punch him right now. Like, shut your mouth.
I didn't only help him. I was inside him, all right? There you go. Which really does sound bad right now, but
yeah.
Yeah, like chat saying, no, I killed him. It's like, yeah, that'd be great if it's like they said something like, oh, where were you at when I was in like this ethereal, mental, weird realm with my pet dragon?
Right.
And me. I failed to remember seeing you there.
Yeah. That was pretty funny.
Busy with that Metal Legion life, apparently.
Oh, chat's saying if you play Char, he doesn't say that. So he is proud of it.
Okay.
Oh, that's
interesting.
Going back over my Norn, smack.
It's kind of like the whole Heart of Thorns with the Savarian stuff and here in the Whispers.
Yeah.
So that's good. I was wondering if they were gonna put like I guess race eccentric things together.
Well, I also from talking to various people, I heard that depending on what Char band that you are part of, various different conversations proceed a little bit differently.
Oh, wow.
Like it's the same basic information, but the tone or the way it's given is very different.
Now I'm gonna have to run through with my Char.
I was
Yeah, I
saying, I bet
know.
all the Char players are finally like, finally, we don't have good armor, but we
Well,
finally.
that's what I was like, I can't really see that because all of my Char are Blood Legion.
Oh no. I
Yeah,
mean,
I have
character
a
slots are on sale, so you know if you need to go make more char.
right. But yeah, like even my thief Order of Whispers Char is Blood Legion. I like Blood Legion.
I was gonna say, it seems like I've been looking on Reddit and like the, like Twitter and stuff like that, and it seems like people are predominantly enjoying, the story altogether. I mean, which,
Yeah, I like the way it's set up, the way you get into it, and like how they they set the emotion and like what's going on almost in the background, but without being like, this is what people think, it's for you to
Mm-hmm.
kind of discover through playing, which is really nice.
mm-hmm. um, but yeah, I'm kind of curious, like what your guys' thoughts on are. Like I said, we're not gonna go into spoilers, but generally the story. Like, do you think if people have access to this is something that they should definitely pick up? I mean, granted, it's
Right.
free for everyone. There's no reason
Right.
not to, but
I mean, I was having a lot of fun with it. It's really interesting. And like I said, the way they structured the story, I thought was really well done and interesting and fun.
Yeah,
Unless,
it's a definitely good kickoff to the next part of whatever they become for the saga that is. So
now I
yeah.
know some people were a little like kind of scoffing at it. Like, I thought they were gonna go darker, which in my mind I was like, this is the very like, this is not even the actual
this is
technically.
a literally crack into the ice itself.
Yeah, this is
So
the
this not
Yeah.
epilogue. This is literally a transition.
you
Like,
got to
so
build up the high. It's kind of like Heart of Thorns. We built it up by being before Heart of Thorns. We went to Silverways. All like the plants, Silverways happen, all the stuff, and Marjorie's sister. Spoiler, all that. Just stuff like that. Like it builds up. You have to build it up, or it's not going to be fun or like dramatic. It's going to be like, oh, okay, here we are, another dragon.
The climatic,
Yeah.
like worst part all at
It's
once.
like you said with the Lord of the Rings thing, you gotta start with things like beginning of the chapter. Here you go.
Um, oh, it's on the
and
wiki now that Deborah
Belinda
Wilson
dies.
is
Yes.
back.
Spoilers. It's way old now. Yes. Like that to me when she did die, that made me like, oh crap, the game's getting serious. Like,
Mhm.
that's when it kicked
Yeah.
in for me.
And yeah, and Chad is saying like what I guess some people did maybe go in with low expectations because probably people saw a lot of that stuff and said, oh, it seems like it's another festival style thing, which,
It is.
well, I was
I
gonna say,
mean,
I think,
it's a party.
yeah, I was gonna say, for them to think of it as a festival, like a holiday thing, like I don't think this is gonna be a yearly
Well,
thing,
I think
but
no, I don't think it'll be a yearly thing, but I think festival as in that's the atmosphere of where you
yeah,
are. The thing feels more like a festival than just a party. Like there's different events and activities
activities.
you can participate in and do and whatnot. So to me, a festival feels like an accurate description.
True. I think the problem was people looked at it and, like you said, it's accurate. You're saying that the atmosphere for it is a festival, and then people probably thought of a festival in Guild Wars 2 is the
Right.
holiday
The way they
events.
use it.
Well,
And
and I think the
so,
way they also advertise, like at the beginning before the release, the Metal Legion like flyers and stuff like that, so it made it
Right.
seem like festival type
which I
things.
hope that
'Cause
becomes a regular thing,
I
even
do
past
too,
their tour thing that's on the posters. I don't know. Like,
Mhm.
because the concert itself, that was amazing. Like they made it seem like if you were to go to a real concert, they did the same like thing. Like there's mosh pits, there's jumping, there's everyone's getting on stage, whatever. But it's hilarious. I love it.
Mhm.
yeah, I was gonna say, when if you watch like the release video, I actually forgot to grab it, but it they jokingly put a feature in of now Bram has hair, like,
I know.
and
Like,
and I don't
They
really
kept
feel that's a
saying it over
spoiler
and
since that
over.
is
Yeah.
since that is literally put in the trailer for you there.
Right.
But I would kind of like if they do go to all these different places, like he kind of follows the metal band around, and he keeps coming back like with other things. Like he runs up to you, he's like, "Look, this time I got a tattoo," or like, it's like, Bram, stop wandering off. I'm gonna have to get you a leash. Like,
I think after this event, he'll learn his lesson not to drink, though. So I don't know if he's gonna do any more stupid things.
Keep it in moderation.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's funny. My one complaint about this update is there is one part where you have to do certain events. Well, not certain events. You had to participate in enough events to progress. And they've set up these little boards that you can look at, and it's like, show me what the current event is, show me what the next event is. But it doesn't always have the option to show me what the current one is. And there was one time where all I had was the option to show where the next one is. So I went to that location, but then 2 other events happened in the meantime around there that were never listed on the board. So that was a little confusing and weird for me. I was like, this one was supposed to be next, but it was next third, not next.
Yeah. I've been just kind of like YOLOing and just wherever, like if I see an event in my map, I just run to it and start doing it. Because at this point, I had the same issue.
And I agree with Chad saying that it's more than a festival. I think that is kind of like how they have in the patch notes and how they talk about it as it's a festival. That's basically to get the people in, and then like you said, there's loads of other activities and then other stuff that goes down, and I think that's just kind of the way to bring the people in. But I think we said before, I think initially people have misconstrued that with, it must be like the holiday events, which
and that's the problem with using a word for different ways to mean very different things. Like
like this Living Story World Saga.
Yeah, I still feel like as much as they want to try and change Living Story's name, it feels like that's.
Hat was saying the board only shows the Major Legion hosted events.
Oh, that might make sense why we were having that issue then.
Because like it just says what the next event is, and like and all of those small things, even the small things that weren't showing up, counted for progressing the event. So I was like, they're all the same, they're all events. But
another positive is there's no more hearts, thank God. I don't mind normal hearts from like pre, but like the repeating hearts is annoying to me, because like if you were to start kind of like before reset, it like you'd get messed up because then it resets the heart. So I kind of like that they don't put hearts in. Plus it makes you feel like less pressure to be like grinding away one spot to hurry up and get next done. I like that there was a bar. It just wants you to do events, run around and do those events, have fun, and that's that.
Same events over and over if that's what you want to do. Because there was a time where I was running around and I couldn't find anything, and then something I already did popped up again, and I was like, I'll do it again, so that's nice, at least.
There's like a lot of cool hidden gems in there too.
How did the flow of the map kind of feel with everything? I mean,
pretty good to me. Like the flow, like you can find it was easy to find a lot of things too. It wasn't so clustered where you can't like find a cave or find the jumping puzzle or find, it was pretty smooth. And like a lot of the, I would say like achievements for, because they have like their own version of a token that you have to find around there. That's even easy to find. Because I had the hardest time in the POS map with the, I think it's like the Jihad coins or whatever. Yeah, I had an issue with those because they're a pain in the butt to find when you have all this chaos going on, and you're just like, here it was easy. It was just like, cool, have fun, enjoy. So.
Yeah, I don't know if Mr. Ed is talking about the one when you're running with the flame as a jumping puzzle, or if there's another one, but it's kind of a jumping puzzle.
Yeah, there's like two puzzles. There's like one in a hidden little cave, and then there's like an actual flame puzzle.
Okay, I haven't done the one in the cave. That's probably the one he was talking about.
Yeah, because I think that one's actually near.
That's the one you have to click on the random trees daily, and it resets differently. I learned that today.
I saw people doing that, and I was like, "What are they doing?"
Yeah, next, just be sure, because the thing is, there's a lot of guides, but the guides are wrong because it resets apparently and it changes daily. So you have to just like find there's a lot of cool people putting like commander tags up, and then they'll say like, they'll mark the trees that are in order, and you just go to there. And that's how I found mine today. I was like, okay, thank God. And then there's like a little room, and then there's like, I'm not going to try and spoil it too much, but basically there's 3 achievements in there that you'll need to do. There's like a little mini puzzle that I took a picture and put on Twitter. And then there's a thing with Marjorie that you need to do that unlocks like another secret side achievement. And then there's another collection achievement in that little room. So
that's cool. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Cause I saw people like, I'll lead people around to the trees, and I was like, what? I don't understand.
And chat's saying there.
Yeah. And then there's the tree. Yeah. I know he's like, cause there's one with in another cove. It's one of those things you just kind of have to find it, or you just, if you're on the achievement hunting side, just go to wiki and it obviously shows it to you.
Yeah, I was just trying to focus on getting through the story, so I was like, what are they? Okay, whatever.
Yeah, I didn't the only reason why I figured it out was I was trying to get the one POF. It was like hidden sort of in the crystal. I was like, how do I get to the stupid POF or POI, whatever? And then I looked it up, and then they were like, oh, you gotta click on these trees, and then the tree teleports you. I was like, trees? Like, what the hell is that? Like, now I know why there was commanders like advertising to click on the trees, and I was like, okay.
Yeah. Okay. That's cool. Yay.
And have you guys gotten to try the meta event there? Like
I did there's like 4 of them, because you need, like, if you do the 4 of them, they give you a token each, and then those tokens you take to a little cove and you put them down, and it gives you, basically it's like another secret kind of jump. It's like a baby jumping puzzle. I don't know what you want to call it, but it's a secret little cove. You put the tokens on, and then you get a reward. So it's like one of those things. So I've done all 4
those. The one for Flame Legion it's a little weird. Like, to me, it wasn't obvious how to make it work, like with the torch and running it and stuff, and like catching.
Yeah, I didn't get it until like probably right at the end when I started seeing people make like a throw line. Whatever, because I kept trying to run. I'm like, how do I get my flame over there? And then finally I just saw people kind of stand there and be like, throw it, and then throw it to us. And I'm like, okay. But I guess there's apparently an achievement where you have to try and make it all the way, but
I don't know how you do that.
I don't know how you can do that. I couldn't. I can see Mesmers do it and like Thieves, but that's probably because they're using certain stuff. I don't know.
But there was also like, a lot of people would not light their torch and just stand to wait to catch the fire or whatever. And the other part was at the end. It was like, before you attack the flame effigy, imbue your weapon. And to me, the way it read, that you would imbue your weapon with the flame brazier that you just lit. Like, to me, that seems like the logical thing. But no,
seem obvious.
You imbue your weapon by stepping into fire tornadoes. That's what you're doing.
Yep.
It's like,
it was fun. There was a lot of people dying though, because they just stood on the thing the day I played, and they thought like you're just supposed to stand on the effigy, and they would just die, and they're like, why am I dead? And you're just like, that's not what it means.
So it says that the torch disappears when you use a blink or use a blink portal.
Oh, that's nice. I mean, that adds the challenge not
that
cheesing
makes it incentive not using skills, then just doing the way the mechanics is for that event.
Actually
that's good.
Actually involving the teamwork and not just, do we have a mesmer, or
because that's what on the first day there's people teleporting. I didn't take the teleport, so I didn't get to see if it worked or not, but I could see that being true, because earlier when I was watching one of Potatoes play, he was seeing that like skills weren't working. It like reset the flame, like the torch and stuff like that.
Yeah, it was a little weird on some levels. There's another one where you're fighting ghosts. That one was cool. I like that
you
one.
Fight a bunch of oozes for the other flame. It's not it's either iron. One of them is for the oozes, and that one was a pretty fun event, because you get to be all separated for a little bit, and then you come together and kill a bunch of oozes, and it was pretty. Most of them are just like, they're not hard. It's just trying to understand what the heck you're supposed to do. The issue, and I guess that's gonna be like that when it first comes out, and everyone's trying to figure it out. Because no offense to ArenaNet, but they've always seemed like to have a long history of just like giving precise details. It's always kind of like, here's this, guess what you gotta do from there. Yeah, it's like you're just like, what?
Yeah. But it was fun. I had fun with the 2 that I did. Then, like, once I figured out how to do it.
Now, I guess my question is, because like you said, it's basically 4 little meta events. I don't want to I don't want to diminish how difficult they are or anything. It's just.
Oh yeah, no.
It's just we're so used to a meta event being there's just one. So
I
that's
like
why I'm saying there's 4
because they're just like a nice. They're not like overly bearing, like Silver Waste style, where it's like you have to rely on a crap ton. Yeah, it's like a nice even where like if you don't have a lot of people, it's still pretty easy to do.
Right.
And I think that's good.
I would say I think that's perfect because that's been a problem with Living Story
because it's like
maps.
every time these maps come in, they make a big event or a meta event, and it's like it's either done once a day or it's only done for that period of when the game comes out with that content. And this is a good happy medium if like, constant players come through or whatever, they'll be able to knock it out.
Now, I guess my question is, since you have to do all 4 of these metas to get like basically a key to take it to like the one area that will unlock, and you said there was a somewhat like you said like medium hard jumping puzzle.
It's pretty easy because you can just glide and mount most of it, and then you just get to the door. Yeah. The actual jumping puzzles you'll know because it'll say the icons on it. You'll know the difference on each puzzle or like thing. But that one you just hop on your owl or dragon and hop over, and then you just pop them on and get.
I guess that's probably good just because. That was maybe my question is there a fail, like does it time you out, like is there a way where you did all that stuff and like you did all 4 metas but you weren't able to get the reward, like can you fail that part? Like that would be my question.
Because I haven't got the fail yet, so I don't know.
Okay.
The only thing I've had happen so far is those cars DC'd me and twice. But it seems like they patch fixed that. And when I came back, I got my reward. So some people are saying they're not getting rewards when they get like if there's any hiccups or something happens, and then other people are. So I don't know if they're slow. Like it seems like they've been patching things as they go and they're fixing. So overall for me wise, I don't know. I don't know if chat might had any of these issues or seen what the difference is if it fails, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, chat's saying you just need to really open the door for that thing. So I guess the only way you could really fail it is if you just logged out and not did it.
I do have a question though, is there was a person behind me when I placed my tokens down, and I thought it looked like he was trying to wait for me to open the door for him. I'm wondering if he could have went through or not. Like, you know how in World v. World, if you get all the keys for that jumping puzzle, all you have to do is open it and then you can let people in really quick or whatever so they can get the reward as well and they don't have to get the keys. But he didn't go into the room. So I'm like, could he not go in? Was it not letting him?
I wonder if they've gotten smart with that. Kind of like Silver Waste, how you could theoretically make it to the end of that jumping puzzle chest, but if you don't have the buffs, like maybe next time is there a buff that goes on it, or you can go in but you can't open the big chest is what chat's saying.
Okay, so that's probably why he didn't go in then, because I like opened the gate. I was like, because there's on the other side once you go in there's a chain that you can reopen the door. So I was like, maybe he just couldn't get in on time, so I opened the door again and he just stood there and I was like, okay, I don't know. I was trying to be nice and give assistance.
But have you guys got to try the strike mission stuff yet, or anyone in chat? I know chat, it was already soloed by Doror, and then I think as like the first person, like I want to say about 4 hours after launch. And then I think there's been multiple people
I don't understand why
afterwards.
People are making a big deal that you can solo it. They literally said even at the theater that it was meant to just be a stepping stone, an easy thing to like kind of get people an idea of what a raid mechanic would be, all that other stuff. It's not supposed to be like hardcore, and that was the only part like kind of bothered me seeing like on Twitter and Reddit. It was like, yes, there's people being like, yes, this is awesome, now we can kind of go in, and that's cool because I liked it because I went in and did it. But then there's like people being like, oh, that was easy, I solo or I autoed hit it, blah, blah, blah. Like, cool. Like, they didn't make it to be hard. They literally told you that. And to be fair,
I don't believe the people that say they auto hit it, because
I don't believe
really
it either.
Seemed like he was having to move around. Like, and I was say, for the record, when I saw Dora's tweet, I don't know if there was any follow up tweets or anything. He seemed like he enjoyed the challenge as one. He
did
it.
For sure.
But chat saying they're full of crap if they auto attack. Yeah, I couldn't believe that for a second. But yeah, I know a lot of people that use that as like this is proof that this is too easy. I'm like, well, that was somewhat the point.
I mean, I went into the public one because I was curious on what the public one would be like, and literally it was just me and a thief, got ran over. There's a snowball that comes at like down the pathway, and it. I was like, you need to watch it, dude, because like I ran up and I knew it was coming, and I stepped to the side, and this thief's like sprinting along like a happy thief, and all of a sudden the snowball rolled him over and just kept pushing. He was like, what the hell? Like I just see what the hell as it goes by, and I'm just like, wow, you just got dunked by a snowball. This is just the start of this little thing. Like
and chat saying if you do have 10 people, you can kind of just pretty much auto attack it, which like
yeah, then that makes sense. There's 10 people. But if you're saying you're one person, I want to see you record it then, because there's like that makes no sense. Like
though I do like, and I'm definitely interested by it, because if you go to it, it doesn't just say it's a 10-man instance that warning if you're going in by yourself, but it says it's 5 to 10.
Yeah, so you can go in with less. That's why I said me and the thief went in and we were fine.
Yeah.
For public.
Yeah, it's like,
I haven't went in with a group
getting
core,
like,
so
our dungeon stuff back, like 5-man content, like that's not just fractals. Like, hopefully.
Yeah. I think I hope, if I'm wondering if they're also just testing this theory out to see how like people react, how they handle and stuff, because if they do this more with like maybe a few other bosses, that gives like another side little content for people who are into like this type of, I guess, raidish, fractalish, solo type stuff.
Though I think, of course, this is an MMO. We're all gamers. What can we get out of all this stuff? So I believe I pretty much got all of it, if not most of it. So if there is something I missed, definitely let me know, chat, or if you guys notice something. But from just the achievement side, so basically earning these rewards through achievements, we have, as you can see here, the Metal Legion band t-shirt skin that it is dyeable. I think it's basically the different dye channels are the sleeves, the chest, and the emblem on the chest. That is, I believe, earned through the achievement merchandise collector. So basically getting 15 reward skins unlocked.
Yep.
So pretty nice look there. You can also, I think, through the achievement, I think it's the meta achievement for the zone, is the rock out emote tome.
I know. So, I'm trying to work towards it because I want it so bad, because it reminds me of the Necromancer's dance.
I was just gonna say all the
so.
Guild Wars 1 Necros are gonna be vying for that one.
Yeah.
But also from earnable on the map through I think just basically the vendors, like, and basically the map currency and also gold currency. You got the Voice of Metal that you're seeing there, which I think is a war horn, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it's a war horn.
And then the other ones are basically the Ash Legion, Blood Legion, Flame Legion, and Iron Legion banner skins for back pieces. So.
Yep.
But
I'm not a fan of the back pieces lately, because even in POF, I don't really care for like the flaggy like things.
Yeah.
I don't know. They're just who's really running around with that stuff? I only see Char do it in World v World because they want to be silly and like have fun with that stuff, but in Outworld, I don't really see a lot of people wearing that stuff.
Yeah, I've never been a fan. Like when they had the different ones, like I think the original one was like for World v World when you could put your guild logo. I'm like, it just doesn't look nice.
It started from there, and it's just like they keep going. So there's obviously a part of the community must like that style or something. Everyone has their own style of what they like, but to me, I'm just like, nah, I don't care for that.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I'm like, it's okay.
And yeah, I think people are assuming that was their answer to capes, since I guess Char can't really.
Yeah,
Char
that's what I kind of figured. Like,
capes.
it seems like that's what they're trying to do, but it's not. Nah, it's not the same.
But also from the meta event, which when you, like we were saying earlier, when you take those keys and go to the door, open them up, At the end, that chest, it has a chance to drop, so it's not guaranteed, trust me. Some of the meta rewards you have here, the Blood Letter, which is a one-handed sword. Flame Walker, which
the
is
infusion
a
looks
staff.
really dope. I really want it.
Oh, that's the infusion effect. Okay. I was like,
yeah, you're seeing on there the Heart of Connor, which is the. Do note, not all. The only screen grab we could really get was it's just the glowing effect on the skin because the person's also wearing other things. So just important to note if you're thinking that's totally insane to go after, it's not all that stuff. But also on
the
there
weapons
you have
look cool too.
Yeah, you have the Ashfall, the Iron Sight Bolt Thrower, which important note, since it is I think just a rifle, it does also have a different sound animation. It actually sounds like a bolt crossbow type thing.
Oh, so, nice.
Yeah. The Visage of Connor, which it gives you it unlock all three weights. And interesting enough, it's that helmet. It is a Char exclusive. So
really?
It's only usable on the Char.
I was going to ask if any Char, like if there's any clipping, because usually Char helms are very, very clip worthy. So, but it looks like on that picture, it looked pretty clean on no clips.
Yeah, looks really nice. But yeah, as far as I've seen it, I think it's only usable for Char.
It also reminds me of whatever, like Batman's Bane or whatever. Like,
yeah. But yeah, so some nice meta rewards. Also, last up, I think in the reward section, we have from strike missions. Now, I'm kind of curious. Chat might have to answer this. Are they earnable in any form of the strike missions, like the open 10-man and the designated 10-man, or just the? Because I could not find either way. But first up, you'll see the Shoulders of the Evan Vanguard Choice chest, which will give you an exotic skin, but also this unique skin of, and there's different looks for each weight class. The first one you saw there was light, second one was medium, and the last one is heavy. Chat's realizing, yeah, I think it's a pretty low drop for the helmet thing, so
yeah,
good luck. But if you are a Char and you wanted some kind of a more plate-looking helmet on a cloth wear, it is the same look. It's just different weight classes. So, But with these strike missions, you have these shoulder pieces, and also you can get the chair. I forget what it was called now. Let me try to find it. But it's kind of a more simpler chair, but it's kind of a Norn-like chair. Where did I put it? Oh, there it is.
I was gonna say it's
in the rotation. My bad. Yeah. I thought I had it as a separate thing. Oh. But yeah, you can kind of see it there in the. Now I do believe the chair is tradable. People were trading it as well, but I think that has skyrocketed with some of the other rewards, because I think the meta weapons are also tradable. I've seen them sitting around, depending on which one's, like 20-ish gold. But yeah, I don't think anything else really is tradable. Maybe the Char specific helmet.
A lot of the rewards are pretty good as well. They're not like too hideous or too bad. They're all pretty decent for everyone. Like there's a little bit of something for anyone.
But yeah, I think it's a easier avenue to get the chair, like a chair for your character. I know non-raiders have wanted something like that, and for everyone, look, we have one that's not, instantly in the gem store. But let me see if there's anything else that's we'll talk about a couple of things in the spoiler section, because there's definitely some interesting characters in the map, but that could potentially, I think, be a slight spoiler type thing. But
yeah, before we move too much away from the update, I just wanted to throw out that there's also a ton of like ambient dialogue going on in everywhere.
What's his face did a video too, if you want to just sit there and listen
was
to
it Rolski?
Yeah,
Yeah.
He put a video out, so I don't have his link, but let me grab it and I can just put it in the channel for you.
Yeah, it was really interesting just hearing all the different conversations that were going on and stuff. I feel like it's more ambient dialogue than we've had in any area in a while. So that was really cool.
And also, if you're liking the ambient dialogue, but also the ambient music and whatnot, the Bound by Blood instrumental stuff is on SoundCloud.
Yay!
So, yeah. So, but yeah, while Kit tries to find the link, and I'll definitely include it in the. All right, and I'll include it in the description if you're watching this later. Okay, you know. But also with the patch came the patch notes, of course. Shocker.
Yay,
but
patch
because
notes.
Yeah, because we didn't just get the update, we got a couple of little other things. So for Necromancer, Grasping Darkness, this skill will now attempt to make the player face the target when activated instead of immediately failing when used on targets behind the player. Dark Path, holding down the key that activates the skill.
Something? I don't play Necromancer, so I don't know.
I had issues with it all the time.
I guess as like a getaway mechanic, it'll.
Yeah.
Right.
And it seems like Dark Path, holding down the key that activates the skill, will no longer immediately fire Dark Pursuit. It fixed an issue in which the projectile did not track its target. So I guess that's a good thing that randomly it's not a skill-based task of trying to hit someone, since it's not pathing or following someone. For the Thief, they deleted Instant Reflexes fixed a bug that prevented this trait from resetting on a PvP match start. So
that means Bad Thief can't be here if you're saying they deleted it. I also
just like
noticed,
a thief, always breaking the rules.
I think Shannon. Oh, well, we'll talk about it later. I'm gonna look in your things. I think you. Oh yeah, you have it here. You have it. The emotes thing. Yep. Okay.
Yep.
Go ahead. Do your thing.
Also, and I guess it might be because they're kind of one of the big rewards for the Living Story or Saga section. What Apple Prologue? Wait, which one? The thing that just came out.
It's a prologue. It comes at the beginning.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Epilogue,
I don't know why I keep saying epilogue. End. Yeah, the forward, the visual forward that's happening. Since the meta reward was the kind of emote thing, they actually, which I kind of like, is if you have the How to Dance Volume 1, it will now permanently unlock the dance moves as player emotes. They can be used with the slash commands, /step, /gear grind, and /shuffle. If you do already have the novelty item, simply use it to unlock the dance moves. So
I think that's pretty cool. I also was thinking, since now they basically put in the rock out emote dance type move, I'm just like, why can't they just bring Guild Wars 1 dances into Guild Wars 2 then, and just call it Volume 2 or something at this point?
There you go.
We can have that. Because like obviously it's exactly the same emote style, so it's not like they had to change it up. I mean, obviously they still have to put the coding and all the stuff in, but yeah.
They just have to flick the switch, right? That's what that's all the devs do, flick switches.
I'm sure there's more detail. There's like, as Aaron has said in the past, there's probably some like coder who's like, it's more work than what we, flipping a switch, but it's just like, that could be a book too. And there you go. It'd be like, no more dance emotes. Stop asking us for book 2 or whatever.
Yeah, maybe they would have to. Chat brings up a good point that maybe some people would abuse the male warrior one like they did in Guild Wars 1. So maybe they would have to alter that one a little bit, or.
I mean, look, I don't want to hear it, especially when Asura's, like the girl Asura's nippies come out because they treat them like boy nips or whatever and outfits.
I was like,
so you can't say here.
What emote is that?
We want to go into details about like sexual or whatever. Let's talk about the armor.
I was confused. I was like, what emote makes that happen?
No, it's just in general.
Okay. But also I think another little nod to Guild Wars 1 was another feature they added, which was in your settings you can actually enable the playtime reminder option, which for people that haven't played Guild Wars 1 or don't remember, it was a nice little message that I think was it after 1 hour or did it wait till 2 hours, where it just basically said, you've been playing for X amount of hours, please take a break.
Maybe
I don't have it turned on, but I believe it's 1 hour.
Okay.
You can't set the time to tell you like how long.
No, I think it's like the automatic message, like it was in Guild Wars 1. It's like 1 hour or 2 hours, whatever, where it's just like automatically just tells you you've been
Which
playing.
always was funny when in Guild Wars 1 when I was farming like Winter's Day presents and stuff, and left my computer on, and I would come back in the next morning and be like, I don't know, if for some reason when the number gets higher, in my mind when I read it seems more worried about me. That might just be me.
The tone gets more insistent.
It's like you've been playing for 18 hours. Please take a break. Like
at this point, it should just log you off. Be like, here, we'll log you off for you. Give yourself a break.
No, I need those Winter's Day presents.
I wish it would let you set a time. Like, sometimes I log on and I have like 2 hours to play and I can't go over that. So like if I could set a timer, be like, hey, it's 2 hours, that would be helpful to me, or something like that. But
it would be.
Yeah, I think this was just an automated one, kind of just reading your.
Yeah, I think they just passed over the code from Guild Wars 1 to 2 because that's basically the same wording and setup and time.
Okay.
They found the old switch from Guild Wars 1 in the engine and they just had to flip it.
There you go. Another easy switch.
They found
right
they're just like, whoop.
They're like, oh, look what we found by the build template switch. Right?
I so badly was hoping for build templates right now. I can't wait when they come though, because
there were some people who were thinking they were coming with the prologue.
That's like another thing. It's like everyone just assumed when it's like rewatch that video. They did not say any of this. Drove me crazy.
Yeah, I was like, I don't think they said it would come with the prologue. I think they said sometime with.
Yeah, they said sometime soon.
So, I mean, it could be the last episode.
As Mike O'Brien does the whole like coming soon over and over in his speeches.
And the player base continues to go, no, I'm not listening.
Yep. It's like they want to hear what they want to hear, or it goes in one ear and out the other, and then you're just like, I don't get it.
But yeah, any other thoughts on the patch notes? I think those are kind of like the bigger things apart from, of course,
I just
living
think
story stuff.
That this time around for Gym Store wise, they didn't put I saw a meme that they put like patch notes were small compared to Gym Store notes or whatever, but to me, Gym Store wise, it wasn't still a lot. It was just like mount stuff or whatever, and maybe a few other things. Other than that, it was set like cells. Like that was honestly, all it is. Like there was more in-game content than Gym Store stuff, so I don't understand why.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think
that was brought up.
It does look wordier, and you'll see when we get to the Gem Store. But it's
right
as people that do it on a weekly basis, it's usually bad when they add a new chest because they basically have to describe when they change the black line chest stuff inside, and that's what happened here, which we'll definitely get to.
I also think like for the people who the Gem Store just generally annoys them, that always, no matter how much or little it is, the amount, it always seems more severe to them because that's what they're paying the most attention to. And
but at the same time, it's like you can literally take your gold and buy those things in the Gym Store if it's really that much of a problem. I don't know. Anyways, Theo, go on your next. We're dragging it.
Well, I mean, you guys taking that side, I'm sure other people, like you said, that love the Gem Store will take the other side, and it'll be like two factions warring.
And it'll be a long debate, and it would never end because no one wants to be wrong or right.
It'll be a stalemate, and they'll have, heck, you take it to the forums, they'd probably have to reset it weekly because people would be so angry about it. Kind of like World v. World, which we talked about in the past. They've kind of been showing us on the forum some balance changes that they have in mind, and I believe it's been mostly Arenio. And he does say in this one, kind of thanks for the feedback on the proposed balance changes over the last 3 weeks. They have, as a result, altered some things, revisited. They kind of were just throwing this out here as that this post isn't a request for more feedback, but a heads up that what they're kind of going with, the changes and stuff, which let me throw it in chat for people if they want to check it out. And of course, if you're watching it recorded, link should be in the description. But I want to see, I personally want to see what changes they made to the because I remember one big issue was it seemed like they were making it so it was easier to put conditions but harder to cleanse them, which it's like, that's not going to be great for people going against a Scourge. Like, let me see, antitoxin thing. Yeah, I wish I would have had the ones previously to see what, because there's a lot of numbers being thrown around. So I'm like, is that the part that changed, or I don't really remember. But ooh, Scourge got a big section. Let's read this.
Oh, jeez.
Let's see if they could wrangle it in. Increase the amount of target Sand Savant can hit. I'm scared for World v. World in the sense of going in now. I don't know. It seems like Scourge can still be pretty.
Necros seems a little bit strong, but
I was gonna say Scourge. The problem with Scourge often is that because of the way the mechanics of that elite class works in general, it can be abused.
Yeah, exactly.
Easily. And so like balancing that it's why it's been so difficult for them to get a good level with it.
Yeah, and it seems like a lot of people are kind of on the same page here of yeah, the 10 target shade thing is kind of the issue, but ArenaNet seems like they really want to keep that.
Well, I think it's kind of a unique thing for them.
I mean, I'm excited that they're kind of starting to separate the modes, especially World v. World now, so I'm not too mad.
Yeah,
I mean, it kind of was needed, but at the same time, it's like, it's a little late, but then again, they might be prepping for this alliance thing that's coming, so start off slow and start getting everyone used to this change by the skills itself first.
Yeah, and I mean, I get the argument that you want skills to work the same in each mode because it's easier for the players, and like when you switch modes and try a new thing, you're not like, why is the skill that I use all the time not working this way?
Or people abusing a skill, like you said, like Scourge alone. If they know how to abuse a mechanic in PvE, they'll probably do it in World v. World as well. Because I've seen that with even Mesmers. Like, I know some Mesmers who know certain PvE skills that are super strong, and they will tear up someone real fast in World v. World because they know how to abuse either the ability or how to use it, and
Right. So now it's a good thing that they're splitting it up and doing more of that. Just,
I mean,
that's what it needs.
If it's balanced, who knows still? Because it's that's one of those hot topics that it just doesn't seem like every class doesn't seem pleased. Like whoever's playing a certain class, it's like their class might be nerfed, their class might be bumped. It's one of those things.
And hopefully, and I know we've said in the past of PvP and World v. World need a quicker turnaround time on like balancing, like changing things.
Yes, they do. That's the one thing would be.
Though hopefully if it's more separate, once it gets into a nice, mostly stable place, they don't. Hopefully a lot of it might just be number changes and not like because some of this is like changing the functionality in
the amount of people it hits and stuff, so that helps too, especially when you're in a big Zerg. So
hopefully if it does go that route of this portion is kind of the harder portion, because it is making those bigger sweeping changes, but then hopefully afterwards it's hopefully little just minor number tweaks. But yeah, it's
Now, did this stuff go live for the World we World? Or is
no,
this
I think this is just the
talks?
proposed stuff.
Yeah, it's what they're working on. Like they're
don't
telling
think
their
there is a
ideas of what they
release
want to
date
do
yet. I'm looking at I don't think they listed any release date for it whatsoever, but yeah, definitely check it out if you're into World War or plan to go in there, because maybe you want to
people
pick
need
up
to
a
check it out
Scourge or
because it's
avoid
always
them.
frustrating when people are like, they never talk about World v. World. We never get updates. Blah blah blah. Like they have literally been talking for the past several months on there and shooting ideas and asking for feedback and everything. It just like if you have to bookmark the World v. World section into your thing and check it daily, because the GMs are usually there and they're talking and the devs are talking, and so.
But any other thoughts on the World v. World balance changes?
I mean, if it's doing this stuff, I'm excited because it does need to be separated, like just like how it was in Guild Wars 1, where there was like the HOH and then there's the PvP and then there's the, PvE. Like it does, because at this point things are starting to get way kind of unbalanced in PvP and World World because of more elites and more classes coming in and skills, that it's like it seems like they can't catch up. But like you said, if they were to kind of start eliminating these things, it'd be easier for them to handle the balance by changing a few numbers or whatever, seeing the data better too, of like who's being overpowered or who's, underpowered. Like,
well, in chat saying most of them are not only World v. World. Well, I think they kind of somewhat lump World v. World and PvP, because there are some that are World v. World and PvP, but some that don't list it at all. Or so there are some changes that will affect across the board, or some that will just deal with, player versus player game modes, which could be
this
World
is
v.
why
World
I
and
kind
PvP.
of wish this game would just let us have a beta server at this point, because then just even if it's not for PvE, I could give a crap that they don't want us to know what's going on in the game for PvE, but it'd be nice for World v. World wise and PvP wise to have an open beta, not private one where you hire or get the most top tier people or top tier, like just a beta for everyone, so that people can test out these skills. You can test out if the balance is okay or not, and then that'll help them on their end be like, okay, this number is either too big, too small, whatever. Because if you just put it in the game, then you're gonna have this problem where it's like, wow, this guardian now is freaking ridiculous even more, or this necro is even more broken, or they need something.
I wonder if they could launch a separate server that just only has
because then other all guilds can try or whatever. If it's it won't be just sectioned to this area private testing. It can be open to everyone who has different abilities, different game time play, easy players, casual players, hardcore play. It would be nice, especially because people play around with also just not only just with skills. You got to play with the armor, you got to play with the runes, you got to play with the weapons, you got to
And I know some games they'll actually only bring it up for so long, it won't be a constantly running thing.
Yeah, it could even be for just a short period, a weekend. Just open it for Saturday and Sunday. Or they do when they do those double Worldly World events or whatever PvP events, open it up. And then, players go in, try it out, they give their feedback. They can take the feedback or not, whatever. Sometimes game companies will just open it up and still release the content. But it's at least people will know, hey, this is what's coming. This might be in the game. This is what we're prepared for,
Which I'm curious if they've looked at the aspect from I'm sure they have, but if they had something like that where it was only access to PvP and World v. World, you couldn't even go into the PvE zone, zones or anything like that.
Yeah, that's possible.
But,
and they could give you how they did when they did the Revenant testing. They gave us those little cache boxes to give you armor stats so you can pick and stuff. They can do that too. Or they can give you a copy of your character like they do in WoW, whatever, and give you a copy of your character and put it. It's just I just don't find it. I find it weird at this point that they just don't let us try to do a beta. There should be a way to eliminate someone from not going into any other world or going to the PvE and seeing something before everyone else. Like, if you can privately let people in on the side, because I know there's more than one server. They have like 3 different server test things that they have. So it's like, why not? Just like give us a chance. The game is at this point of age.
And what if it's like any account can go to these things during that time frame, which I'm thinking is to test this. It's like you, as that character, when you go in as a Necro, you have access to every Necro elite spec. Since it's only limited, you're not going to have people cheating out on like, oh, I'm getting the elite specs for free. But it does make a person that hasn't bought HOT or POF go, oh, this profession is actually like, this elite spec is fun.
It also opened doors for people who left the game for a while, who loved World v World or loved PvP, and then kind of just left because they got bored or the mode was just not balanced enough or whatever. And then like they see, hey, a beta, let me give it a try. And then if it's something they like, boom, they're back into the game. Whatever, there you go, another number came back. But it's just, I don't know. To me, at this point, I just don't see why we can't just have a beta. Even if it's short, even if it's long, nothing.
And Chad is saying like that they would think that they would have to establish a new server infrastructure for it, and they would
not
also,
really. I worked for QA.
I'm not sure
that's why I said
that,
there's. Yeah, I worked for QA for a bit, and there is 3 tiers of server. There is a like basically raw, dry, rough draft, and then there's a second tier server where it's just like the things got in, things are not raw as much anymore, and then there's the third tier where it's like the final project but you guys can't see it. So it's like they can easily take the final project, because that's the server they used for even when the first raid came out, and those beta quote tester raiders got to test out the raids before everyone else. It's the same thing with World v World, where certain guilds got to test out the new Desert Borderlands before Heart of Thorns and all that stuff came out and stuff like that. So they could possibly do it. It's just, I don't know what their real excuse is if they just don't want to monitor it. They don't want to put the work into it. If it's a waste of time to do it, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know what metrics they look at to determine decisions. But chat's also bring up the point of it could possibly split the community, which is why I was saying lean towards not having it up constantly, because
it could be just a weekend.
Yeah, or at most I would say a week at a time, like, so because a weekend maybe people wouldn't be able to dig through and theory craft.
True.
Maybe a whole week, which yes, it would tank one match in World v World, which might be a problem later when we have like alliance system. Hopefully it brings more people back, but at this point,
because see, this is why I'm
scared. Are we really going to be that concerned about a World v World match?
There's really no testing, and alliance comes in. What if that's even more broken, or what if that's even more unbalanced because they didn't really test it out? What are they going to do it again where they test only with certain guilds? And if so,
I'll say, which to their credit, they did do. Didn't they open up when they were having the new map? They did open up. So they randomly selected people to.
And that was the issue. People were upset then because those people were just like the high tier end people, and that doesn't help your community when there's different players and different player styles, and like you have the roamers, or you have the people who Zerg bust, or you have the people who are more organized. It's like different people, just like in PvP. There's people who like to do the tournaments. There's people who only like to do randoms. There's people. It's so you have to kind of think openly. Like it can't just be the select group, because it's not fair. It's like you said, it needs to be a little more open, because people might want to theory craft or put something together or see like how things work or how things flow.
Yeah, I don't know. I think at the end of the day, it's not an easy decision. I'm sure there's.
Oh yeah, no, it's probably a lot more technical work or whatever, or like trusting the community and all this other stuff, or finding a way to like lock them out from going into anything else, because you have people who just want to be that apple and break the game or go through things that they're not supposed to and just not stick in the area that they're, it's and it's sad, because that's like that ruins the trust between the player and ArenaNet.
And that's my one worry is if they give us like something that like the problem is if they give us something that only has access to PvP and World v World, are the files for PvE still there? Because then you had the people that potentially could data mine and leak the stuff.
That's what I'm saying. So it's
or
one of
is
the
it
things
not?
like
Or is it not even there? And that's also the problem is when you only have 2/3 of the code. What happens when that third one comes in? Does it now break everything,
I think
who knows?
I think honestly the data mining side of it is probably the biggest thing because they
Yeah.
Hmm.
do a lot in the main game as it is now to protect certain things from not getting data mined. And I think when they're working on builds and stuff, it's probably not quite as protected. So if they had it in public, that's another step where they have to have those protections even more so, I think that
Yeah.
might be a
It's
problem.
like a double-edged sword overall because it's like it's definitely needed at this point because the game is at the point where it's like you have so many elites, you have so many specs, you have so many armors and all this stuff, combos, stats. It it needs to be kind of done in a sense because if not, if they throw this alliance thing in and the skill changing kind of thing in, it's gonna, I don't know. I feel like it's gonna be like a little upset on the community still. Like it's still gonna be like not all the community is gonna be happy about it because
Well, the other thing with that is it can be hard sometimes to get people to actually participate in PTRs. They
hmm
don't always do that. And especially with if you want to test out things like the alliance system and world versus world and all of that, you actually like there is no good way to test a system like that without having like a substantial number of people. Like
exactly, and that's
a
why I don't
small
really like
scale,
the whole private thing because that's how I
right?
never liked it even with the raid because it was like only a few select raiders got to go in the first raid and they were high end raiders and it so that stopped up like that started the foot of like well only these people can do it, I can't do it because I don't feel like I'm in that league or something, it's
Right.
like it starts that pattern of stuff when it's like there's a
And
bunch of different
also, I'm
players
kind
in
of
this game,
curious
you're not the
is
only one that's playing this game.
And
Right.
I'm
But
kind of
what I was
curious,
saying, like,
especially if they have the background, or I think maybe what you're trying to get at, Arlie, is no matter how many people go in there, you probably have some people that are just going to look at the system, but are
Hmm.
those people in there to actually try to break it,
Exactly.
or
and like
push it to its limits? Like,
I wonder what they would have to do to get enough people to be able to test it to get a good measurement of those kind of systems because
Right.
like that is a real problem often. I know wow, there are actually people who only play on the PTR, which is fine. They don't care. They're paying a sub anyways. But like those people are dedicated to testing all of that stuff and that's probably where a lot of their feedback comes back. But like then
Yep.
there are other people who dip in and out, but it's not anywhere near the level of what is on the live servers.
And most of the
um
time, like for me, example, when I do the PTR, like for WoW, most of the time when I did play PTR, it was only just to check out my own class. Like,
mhm,
is it going to be okay? Is the skills going to be the same? Am I going to be able to play this class? When you move something else? Because that's a lot of times what would happen is I would just either have to move to a different class or prepare my class for the next thing or be like, okay, I'm ready for this. Other than
right,
that, I would never go further. But then again, not every player is going to be the same. We can't trust everyone because,
right.
again, there's people who just don't want
Well,
to
and then
be.
you also run into issues sometimes because oftentimes devs are like 2 or 3 builds ahead of what's public, even on the
Hmm.
PTRs. So sometimes you'll get something on a PTR and it'll be fine, but then last minute changes because the devs were working
Yep.
ahead that never were on the PTR going live, and then everybody's like, "Wait, what?" So
Exactly. Exactly.
it's a complicated thing. I would love for them to have a PTR, but I can also kind of understand why maybe they don't because
Right. Same.
it makes things complex.
but yeah, moving on from War v World and should they have PTRs? uh, a bit of sad news, at least from the Guild Wars 2 perspective, because it seems like the other people are moving on to what seems like better things, so awesome for them. But we do have 2 departures from ArenaNet. Bill Freist, I hope I'm saying that correctly, but was basically kind of, I guess the official title was programmer at large. I don't know. It's
Mhm.
kind of
Yeah.
did everything because from their history, back in 2011 they were a QA tester. 2012 they went on to as a test engineer. 2013 was a gameplay programmer, and basically 2015 and on was kind of the programmer at large. For people that aren't aware, Bill was kind of the guy that was giving little quality of life things and keeping Guild Wars 1 up to date. What, he wasn't designing, here's a new raid or anything. Like, it was just,
Yeah, he's
I mean, he
also
gave
the
us a
one
lot
that
of
made
quality
the
of life stuff
Revenant for
too.
Guild Wars 2. So
Yeah, like you said, also worked on Guild Wars 2. Like, basically Guild Wars 1 stuff was in his spare time as well, so it's, but and yeah, like you said, he worked a lot on the Revenant, which I love the Revenant. But yeah, so a bit of sad news there, but also on Twitter, which, like I said, I think I said it before the show, it seemed like Community Corner was like bleeding into the rest of the news, but the one content creator, Girl Wars, GURL, is actually, I think currently right now, if you're watching this live, doing a kind of tribute send-off.
Yeah, a bunch of them are. They made like a big old event, a bunch of streamers from Guild Wars 1. If you just go to Guild Wars 1 stream channel today-wise, as Deo said, they're doing like fun giveaways. They run dungeons with like people that are watching the stream or people in the game. They're doing PvP. Like, they're just trying to show that the game's not dead, and all the work that Bill, like, just thank you for the quality of life changes and stuff. And her video touches up on it too for people who haven't touched Guild Wars 1 in a long time. Like, if you go watch her video, which I don't know if Dale will link in the thing or not, but if he does, she basically goes in details exactly of what has been changed since Guild Wars 1, since a while, I guess, like from friends lists to spammers to graphics and all sorts of stuff. So
yeah, lots of cool things. I mean, so definitely check it out. But
and he's
also,
the last one who was working on it, because there was another one, I think it was Ben or someone else was also working with him as well, but he was part of the layoff back then. So then it was just Bill left. So now there's no more, for right now, as of now, there's no more people working on Guild Wars 1 or updating it for now. It's just going to be the typical roundabout stuff that comes into Guild Wars, like events and stuff like that.
Also, Heather Conover is leaving ArenaNet as well. Her position was the lead game designer.
Well, your position was lead game designer, not the lead game designer.
Yeah, there's a lot of lead game designers in there.
I'm just saying.
They have too many titles in that company.
She was the lead game designer to me. Thank you very much. But she did say on Twitter that it was her last day. Goes on to say how she's gonna miss everyone. Miss the team and everyone there as a lead game designer. Happy. But she thanks everybody for being so supportive during this huge period of change for her. So we wish both of them well, and can't wait to see what else they have in store for the game industry in general. So, but any other thoughts on the departures?
No, I mean, I feel for the Guild Wars 1 community, because it's like, I'm kind of curious on where it's going to go. Like, is there going to be, like, is the game going to shut down? Are they going to continue rolling it? Like, that's my only question in my mind. But other than that, as for her, I wish her best of luck. It just sucks because that's another person, out of the company, and it's like, okay, who's going to come in? Are they going to know the history or learn about just one of those same old things that MMOs have when they rotate people in and out. So
yeah.
Wish them best of luck, basically.
Unfortunately, the way of life. Yep. Moving away from that, a little bit of controversy in the content creator community, I guess. But basically revolves around some contests and whatnot that have been going down, and they're not official contests from ArenaNet, so don't like, it's not on their side. It's I believe one of the people in question, which now my thing won't load, of course. Forget the person's name. And this isn't me, like, I would feel weird even saying this, like, I'd never heard of the person, but apparently it was Trubby Chub. I don't know, but that was at least one of the names that was put out there. That it's basically along the lines of what it boils down to was they had, I think it was Kit was telling me it was basically their highest tier for their Patreon.
Oh, Cello, yes.
Oh, okay, it was a
Right
different person.
now,
All
if
right.
you go to Reddit today, there's a little bit of controversy because there is a content, a streamer, community maker, whatever you want to call him, basically is under fire because he has a Patreon where if you pay like $150, you get magically a legendary or some skins. Apparently got taken down though.
Was it just 1 for 1, or was it you were put into a raffle at that level? Because
From what the thread's saying, you get one. You pay and you get one. And then obviously the reason why people are upset is because you're trading real life cash for like that's against the rules. Like you can't be using cash for that. And then the other thing was, I guess just the weird amount of counts he has, stuff like that. There's a lot of weird issues going on. It's like you have to go to the thread itself right now because if you just read through the comments, there's a lot of people making accusations against him. He claims on Monday or Tuesday he might put a tweet out with supposedly GM tickets right now of like what's going on, the whole story. For now it's just like a bunch of he said she said going on, pointing fingers. And I guess overall the community is just kind of like a lot of these streamers lately have been doing like a lot of giveaways and a lot of big ones that a lot of people are starting to get concerned that it feels like scammy.
Right.
So that's the major one thing that we've always looked at was, and I mean, you could really get in trouble with that, not just through ArenaNet, but through Twitch, because if you are keeping something behind a paywall, that is a no, because that then makes it gambling, especially if it's a giveaway, because that's gambling in the sense of you pay for something, you could get nothing out of it.
Yep.
Exactly.
There's usually like company giveaways. There's usually a no purchase necessary entry.
Right.
Like
they're required to have that.
Yes, because then it's no longer technically, And
if you don't know where this person say like he bought this legendary off a gold site and then traded it to you and you thought you paid $150 for a legit legendary that he might have made or just bought himself off the game. That's what you think as you buy. You have to trust this person. And the thing is, he could have just bought it off a site. I'm not saying he did. This is an example.
Yeah, I know some people have been worried.
Just if it goes into the game and then you get it, your account would get basically banned too. Because there wouldn't be no buts, ifs,
everybody
nothing.
that's hit by it, they're like, you're connected, so
that's why you see sometimes on Reddit, like someone will be like, I got banned for no reason. I got sent gold though from a friend and I don't know why, blah, blah, blah. And then they come to find out that either the friend bought some gold from a website and then obviously shared the gold and then that it trickles down. It's the same thing with a lot of MMOs. WoW even does this. Black Desert Online does this. So it's not something new. It's not something like they're trying to be mean to certain people. It's just that's that. But right now the community's mad because they feel like he's abusing the rules. And that there's like some proof or evidence. And then right now, I would just say, in my opinion on this whole thing, is just be wise on what you're entering. Check out the person. In general, make sure they're legit. See how they're like. If you have concerns, ask them. Like you can straight up ask them. If they can't tell you how or why they got this such thing or how they make it, and if it doesn't seem like math-wise makes sense, then because like I said, I made 20 legendaries last year and that was a struggle enough. This guy is always giving away like hundreds. Like if you go to his Twitter, it's like 100 legendaries. So it's like, I'm not judging. Like he might be able to have the ability, maybe swiping his card and paying out of his own pocket. Maybe he's got friends who are helping him donate the mats. I don't know. But at the same time, you're just like 100 legendaries one week. And then next week it's like 10 super ghost infusions. And next week and 100. It's like that. As a player itself, how are you making that much money We all can barely make that much money right now.
That's the thing that confuses me is like on Monday or Tuesday, whatever, I can provide proof. And I'm like, if you're doing all of this stuff legitly, you should be able to be like, this is how I went about doing it. Or I've been saving up materials for all of this for the last 7 years playing,
Exactly.
Sure.
And as much as like, and I was trying to tell this to Cho and a few others because we're all trying to talk about it in his channel. It's just that as much as he wants to sit here and rely on the GM to prove that he's not guilty or guilty, he could also not be telling the full truth to the GM and not say like, hey, I also have 40 plus accounts. Like you can lie and make up a John Doe. Like I have 2 accounts that have John Doe names on them because I don't want to use my name on them. So they're like named John Doe names. And so if I were to go put a ticket in and be like, I'm innocent and blah, blah, but then yet these 2 other accounts have something fishy on them, how are you going to know? Because I didn't tell you that. You don't know. You can't look unless there's some way you can look in my computer history of me logging into every single account, which is breaking, I guess, privacy.
No, it's because you're logging into their client so they can tell stuff on that end from your logging in. Like,
but then he has to also admit that he's using those accounts. He could just lie and say that wasn't me. It's kind of like the 2 siblings that got banned a while ago from the music band, the group.
Yeah.
Both the sister and brother both got banned at first because the brother's the one that did the naughty stuff with the teleportation stuff, and then all of a sudden and then all of a sudden she got unbanned, but he wasn't unbanned because they had to wait after a while to investigate because they were like, well, it's not fair that she's banned, but yet she was under the same IP and under the same stuff. So I can see it, but at the same time I can see him also getting away with it because if he's doing something to the community, something nice in a sense, he might be fine. But they really need to do their research because if he is buying it from anything illegal or doing anything illegal in the background, that's going to be bad because that's going to trickle down on anyone else who got a reward from him or a skin or a legendary or whatever.
Right.
Because he even gave prizes to the ERP pot thing. So.
I mean, even I always would say if you have to pay to enter something or to get a certain tier of something.
And if you have to sub $150 for just put $150 into your gyms to gold and get your
team how much
match that way. It's like you could buy it basically.
I was trying to think. I was like, how much?
The math
how close would that put you with?
Unless you're that lazy that you don't want to do your map completion and battle stuff, I guess. But at the same time, you must really be that deep lazy that you gotta give someone else $150 to get you a legendary.
But yeah, in the end, I think hopefully Arena is very careful about this because it can set a precedent either way.
I think the other problem right now is people are like, oh, it's been brought up and they haven't actioned on him. So clearly they think it's okay. But the thing is they're not going to do something until they have some kind of
and that's
something. And that takes time, unfortunately.
And not internet time.
Yeah. not internet time where a minute is 4 days.
Yeah, because this one was at least posted 1 day ago, and I know this person's been doing it. They should have known, but maybe this was just brought to their attention.
Right.
Like I said, I didn't even know about this. I didn't know about this YouTuber.
That's the weird part to me. It's like you had that goal for a while, and now you magically deleted it, and now you're trying to be like, oh, I did nothing wrong. But if you were running that goal beforehand, you still did something wrong. That doesn't make any sense because that again, example, the 2 siblings, the brother claimed that he used the teleportation thing a year ago before or whatever, but then got banned at the current year at that point because that's when Chris was finally laid out the ban wave or whatever. Yeah. So it's just well, they might not catch you then, but they should,
There's so much information to go through as well.
Yes, exactly.
It's not like they just go, show me everybody who's gotten gold from weird places and you get a list. That's not how it works.
And I like that logic. If I used it a year or so ago and I didn't get caught, it's if you run a red light doesn't mean you get a cop pulls you over. It's But
right.
yeah, next time you get pulled over by a cop and they're like, you ran that red light. It's like, yeah, but she didn't catch me the other time I did that like
Right?
a year ago.
I was going 150 a few days ago. Nobody pulled me over.
Yeah, what the heck? They'd be like, they would probably be like, step out of the car.
Thanks for telling on yourself. Here, let me add that to the list. Like,
Right?
Say that right into my camera so I have evidence. Like,
I don't know. It's one of those things. Just be wise, be cautious, ask questions if they can't answer, whatever. Like, that's why I was more like always up to date when I did my contests of like, this is how I was getting it. Thank the people who donated stuff. Like, you got to be careful because you don't want to risk someone else's account because someone could be working their ass off on that account and then they're thinking they got this cool reward and then the next day, boom, ban, and they can't get unbanned and all that hard ass work gone. And that's the thing. Right now, there's been so many giveaways, the Arena costume or outfit, whatever, the stuff that's coming around for the game, and
don't fall. Sorry.
You're fine.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, that's the one thing you gotta look at. It's like, sure, oh no, I might miss out on a legend, possibly winning a legendary, or getting it. But look at it this way: how much are you gonna get to use that legendary on a locked account that you can't access? Like,
yeah,
it's
like you could have used that 150 and probably put it into mats for a legendary.
Yeah, that's the craziest thing.
Or for a precursor,
literally. Literally
saying.
$150 for a legend.
You could buy probably the whole T6 part of your $150, or at least with the Mystic coins, whatever part. Like I had to throw some money in for the contest, and I know like total wise, you can $200 to $300. You can get a whole legendary itself. If the gems are right during the day, I guess. But yeah.
Well, I guess we'll try to follow this more when they kind of come out with their side of the story on Monday or Tuesday.
If you want to keep up to date with the drama, just follow their Twitter, or at least keep an eye on their Twitter or Reddit. For now, they're banned on the Reddit Guild Wars 2 itself because of just fishiness. The Reddit mods claim that he was on 40 accounts posting his own content, his own giveaways, claiming that they're fans, followers, friends, whatever. But the thing is Reddit, it's the same thing as Guild Wars 2. They can look in the background and see like what's going on. Like they can see if it's the same IP. They can see like mods have a more ability to kind of check you out. So
maybe he has dissociative Reddit disorder, which is kind of like multiple personalities, but
because he's now following the 80. I think they said 80-20 or rule, whatever. It's like you're not supposed to post your content all the time. Obviously, a lot of us content creators know this too from our own thing. Guild Wars 2 Reddit, they just don't really want you spamming your own content too much. It's just a thing. It makes sense because you don't want to have someone just self-promotion all over the place and spam the heck out of it. And that's what this guy was doing. So, that's why there's that meme of people just kind of making fun of him, and he feels like he's probably being bullied or whatever. But I don't know. I don't know what to say.
I mean, it's a shame that he's getting made fun of, but unfortunately, that is
like it's kind of like you made this bed, so you gotta.
It is weird that they don't have the stuff ready, or like I need a couple of days to. It's like, what do you need a couple days for to doctor the like what's going on?
Because he wants to apparently prove it with all the GM posts, and it's like, cool, I can pull up a GM post and say it can say like good things too, but it doesn't lead up to the Patreon thing. It doesn't lead up to like, do the devs know you had that Patreon rolling before you deleted it? And because the devs can't go through Patreon, they can't data behind. It's I don't know. Well, thanks.
Like I said, at the current moment, it's a lot of he said, she said type thing. Like we don't know
exactly.
So we'll try to look at it maybe next week when we do have their other, like at least what they're bringing to the table. This is kind of
dangerous, and it could also lead to a thing of in the future of just like how people are going to give away things, or how ArenaNet might look into giveaways for like their content makers.
Or if it's that case, I mean, if it is through like a definitive payment. Twitch might have something to say about that. Like, you're on our platform. That could be a problem for us.
That's another thing that they were talking about. So, yep.
So I don't know. We'll hopefully see by next week what's a little bit more information. Hopefully concrete information. But
exactly.
But speaking of contests, ones that hopefully you won't have to worry about the legality of, maybe at most where you're located if you can actually enter, because I know that's been a problem in past, but they are official ArenaNet contests with other partners. One being, and I know Age has been super pumped about these ones, were the custom Nike Air Force One sneakers. Basically it ends Friday, October 11th, but they have 6 pairs of custom designed Nike Air Force One sneakers to give away, inspired by fashion icon Whitlock Brimstone, with their metal plate detailing, fiery orange laces, and Blood Legion insignia. They're perfect for any Char fan or dedicated sneakerhead. To enter, you got to put together a Guild Wars 2 themed outfit and post it on Instagram using the hashtags hashtag Guild Wars 2 and hashtag Rock These Ritlocks in the description, and let us know how Guild Wars 2 inspired your outfit. So basically, they're looking for real life images. They did say you don't have to cosplay. That wasn't the idea. It's kind of just a like fashion outfit. I think they gave an example like, bundle up for winter with, Shiver Peaks with fuzzy boots and accessories, But they did say that the winners will be selected at random, and in case people do want to enter that are watching currently. Let's throw it over here. Chat's already saying that they want the box. Yeah, the box does look nice, and I know
the box looks cool.
Yeah.
I like it. I don't know why. I just don't like the logo part. I don't know. It's like the logo part is just so weird. It's so plain Jane. It's kind of like with the car when they gave away the car and the car was like just a tiny simple logo. It's like weird to me. I like it, but I don't like. I don't know. It's just weird. It's probably because it's like weird to see the logo on like actual products.
Yes. I like them. I like the design of it, but then I was thinking I would actually wear those. And then I was like, wait, am I a bad person for wanting to wear them because they're like collectible? And my brain hit this whole like tailspin over that.
I mean, they are like, I like the color, I like the style. Just the little logo is a little weird for me, but then again, it's like the same thing. At the same time, it's like, would I want to wear them? Would I not want to wear them?
Yeah.
Yeah, that is one of those things, like you wear them and then you're going to have so many people going, you put your foot in them.
The downside again, though, for this is, again, EU cannot enter, and they're getting mad about this because, like, the watch, the shoes, the stuff beforehand, the car, like, all that stuff it's been NA only. And, like, I think the sad part is, like, I feel like I know ANET, it's because they're trying to follow the rules of EU with their whole giveaways and stuff like that. But it's like, I wish they can find a way that they can give something to EU, like look around the rules or something a little bit better, because it just feels like they're just kind of like, okay, well, these are the rules in your state or country. Boom, that's it, and we're done. Just move on. Like they're not addressing. Like they should address and be like, we know you are fans of us too. Like we know you support us and care about us too. We see it. We're not forgetting about you. But maybe like list what be like. It's just because your countries, and it might sound like a broken record, but sometimes it just seems like if it's a new player or maybe people don't realize their own country changes their rules or something. Like sometimes people don't realize it changed. Like the day when Belgium, I think recently, it was either Belgium or someone recently, one of the countries, like last week or a week ago, they just recently got loot boxes locked away. And so I saw on Reddit Belgium, like several posts of people complaining right away, like, why can't I enter it in my box? But I'm from this country. And everyone's like, it's because your country just, banned it. So, and it's just like, sometimes people are not even up to date with their own country's laws.
And I think that's a lot of things, because I've always heard it from the side of I like to watch like British comedy panel shows, and sometimes that's very difficult to do because of basically company licensing over here. It's basically the same thing of, and you got to look at it like this is, trust me, ArenaNet, NCSoft would love for you to be like, use the Instagram or retweet this thing out, because it's basically free advertisement for them. To give away these shoes, they would love to be able to give them to you. It's unfortunately the government that's going, well, no, you got to do it by these rules, which, I mean, I think one of the more difficult things is, especially with the EU, is there's so many countries within just the EU in general. It's not a uniformed rule set. Like everything's a little bit different, so it's like a lot of hoops for them to jump through to cover all of the EU. So that's always, but yeah, for people to yell at ArenaNet about it, trust me, they would love to have you enter and, you know, show off their product and talk about their product like that. Like they, trust me, this isn't them going, well, we don't want these shoes to go into anybody's hands. We want them to go into 6 random NA, you know, hands, not NA and EU. Let's not be like, they're not sitting there doing that. But, if they're saying if the box, I guess, was shaped like a blackline chest, that would be kind of funny and sad at the same time. Especially if you open it up and it wasn't in there. Anyway, another giveaway that they're doing is partnered with Steel Series, which we have right here. You can enter for a chance to win one of 5 Icebrewed Saga prize packs. Each pack includes an Ascended Arene clothing outfit for your Guild Wars 2 character to wear in-game, and a Steel Series Arctis Pro headset with a stylish Icebrewed Saga themed headset plates. So you can kind of see them showing off there, which they do definitely look pretty nice. My dogs are raving for them. But yeah, so let me throw that in chat, and of course, once again, if you're watching on YouTube or anything like that, link should be in the description in case you want to enter. But yeah, any thoughts on the headset themselves, or either of the? I mean, I think we talked at length about the first one, but
yeah, I think the headset looks cool.
I was gonna say, are you guys familiar with any of the Steel Series products? I've never used Steel Series personally.
Yeah, I'm using one now. I have the wireless one.
I was gonna say I've never actually owned any of them, but I've tested some of them and whatnot. So they're pretty
good quality, so it's not a bad deal. And they're good with their return pot. Like if something happens, they're really good. So
yep.
Awesome. Well, definitely enter those if you are able to. Though, you know, if you're not, maybe if you're not lucky or maybe you're not able to enter it, why don't you put the money toward, you were saying like before earlier with the whole contest issues, you might not get it and you had to pay for it. Why don't you put that money towards something in the gem store and you might be guaranteed to get it? Like, for example, the new thing that came in the gem store, and it is the Primal Spirit Jackal skin for 2,000 gems. That is the correct response.
I mean, the skin is really pretty. So I think I might actually hand buy that one. I'm not usually a fan of getting it, but yeah.
Right. My isn't like it's terrible. It's 2,000 gems.
Yeah, that's exactly. That's where I'm like, I'm tempted to get it, but then at the same time, like, unless we're lucky, like someone we know in this group that got it randomly.
I know he didn't show up today. He was probably worried we'd all yell at him.
Yeah, he was probably worried I was gonna punch him through the screen. Yeah, because actually I got a free Black Lion chest key recently. Because I've been reworking my way through all of the story for my MMORPG column, and I finished a chapter of the Heart of Thorns that gave you a key, and I was like, oh, let's see, I got crap out of it. So like the next day he's like, I got this, and I'm like,
but yeah, like you're saying, you can get it for 2,000 gems, or they updated the Black Lion chest to, and now they're the Bound by Blood chest, which you can get guaranteed Black Lion material bags, Black Lion statuettes, uncommon, as you see here, the Primal Spirit Jackal skin. So you can get that in the, in the Black Lion chest. It's not guaranteed, but also a new, exclusively in the Black Lion chest, the Golden Talon Longbow, as you're seeing there. And I mean, what are your thoughts on that?
It looks funny to me. I don't know why. It just looks hilarious.
I mean, it's cool, but I don't know.
It kind of looks like what was the Phoenix's name? Like Dumbledore's Phoenix. Like it looks like the one from the movie in there. Like you just strapped it to a bow.
How do I not remember the Phoenix's name?
I don't know either. I can't.
My brain has literally just stopped. I'm like, how have
Chad,
I
if you can
forgotten
answer
this?
it and also give us all $50 each, you are entered into this. No, I'm kidding.
No, I don't want to get banned.
Oh my god, this is gonna bother me.
Whoops, I did not mean to make it such a.
Gonna have to Google it now. Gonna have to Google.
No, because I love Harry Potter stuff, and most of the time I'm like,
someone I think said it.
Fox, thank you. I was just like, how am I not like thinking of this? My god.
They stuffed a phoenix and placed it on a bow. Yep, I mean, I was gonna say it's a little awkward position. It just kind of looks.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's like they rammed a shaft up its butt and then like it's straight head and like it's kind of weird.
It looks like it is a Norn wielding it. They are very resourceful. I mean, maybe they were like
true, and maybe it's because they're trying to make it rough looking because it is the Norn like saga type story going on. It kind of fits their style, or I guess a theme.
What are you trying to insinuate? We're both of our cultures just run around sticking. Never mind, I ain't completing that line on the internet.
I don't know.
But
yeah, I don't know. It's weird to me. And I have way too many longbow skins considering I don't use longbows on any of my characters. So yeah.
Yeah, like Chad saying, it's like catching a phoenix trying to fly away. Because does it have a flap anime? Like, is it legitimately a real one?
I wish we could dye weapons at this point, because I feel like a different color might make me want it, because it's just, I don't know.
With it all gold, it feels very gaudy to me.
Yes,
they haven't uncovered the dust off of that developer switch from the Wars 1 stuff.
Another switch that needs to be flicked.
But also in the uncommon chance in the Black Line chest is also the Watchwork Wings package and the Beast Slayer weapon collection. Also a rare chance at the Abaddon weapon collection. The Glyph of the Prospector and Glyph of the Unbound. And also just remember, I do have it right here. This is the last week for the New Horizons supply drop requisition, which I do think there's a couple. Aren't there a couple Blackline chests in there, or am I mistaken?
I think you get keys. Yeah, it says Blackline keys on there one, and then Blackline chest golden ticket key, I guess.
Okay, so yeah, you get keys. So if you are looking at that, but this whole bundle is. Since we are in the last week, is at the full price of 3,000 gems, which is still at a reduced rate if you bought everything individually type thing. Do remember, even though if you're looking at it, you do get the week 4 stuff, but you do get all the previous stuff, so it's not like you missed out on
So
anything.
The golden ticket isn't that great either. Like, I haven't bought this yet. I did buy this for my mom when it first started this whole system.
Mm-hmm.
And she liked it, but I haven't bought it for me because I just thought it's kind of like pointless to me. It feels like still RNG on most of it. So
yeah,
when
most of the things in it are RNG.
And if the gold ticket just is giving you crappy items, it's kind of like I don't know.
Well, isn't the gold ticket only it basically only gives you above a certain? Okay, it gives me anything uncommon. I was gonna say I thought it was uncommon and above or something like that, like so you're not supposed to get. I
thought it was also guaranteed, like that it was something you don't have.
I don't remember. It's been a while for that since it came out, but that's kind of the most newish stuff. But returning items, the Mount Adoption License, 1 for 400 gems, 10 for 3,400 gems. The mini Crichton floppy fish for 350 gems. The mini Sand Giant, the mini Zintel Cavalier, the mini Sabbatha, the mini Bloodstone Rock are all 350 gems apiece. The mini Shrine Guardian and the mini Plush Arene for 400 gems apiece. The mini Mordrum Ley Leecher for 500 gems. Nature's Oath outfit, Gwen's attire, and the Forged outfit are all 700 gems apiece. Remember, those are outfits. The Thunder Strike harvesting tool, the Firestorm logging tool, and the Earth Shaker mining tool are all a 1,000 gems apiece. Also, I think the sale is still going on. I think they talked about it at the beginning, like when when the patch drop was. You can get the shared inventory slots, 1 for 490 gems, 3 for 1,323 gems, and 5 for 1,960 gems, which is around 30% off. Character slots, 520 gems, 35% off. Bag slots, 240 gems, which are 40% off. And we were talking about earlier the emote thing, How to Dance Volume 1. You can get it for 240 gems, which is 40% off. A bunch of musical instruments. You can be that jerk in the mosh pit starting to play your own instruments. Like, what are you doing here?
Yeah.
All 520 gems a piece, which are 35% off, and that's the flute, mariner's horn, musical bass guitar, musical frame drum, musical harp, and musical lute. Limited time stuff. The minis might be gone, so I'm not 100% sure, but we'll get to them. The recharging teleport to friend is 800 gems. The Mercer Backpack Glider Combo is 700 gems. Macaw Wings Glider Combo, 700 gems. Spectral Glider, 500 gems. Shattered Bloodstone Glider, 400 gems. Sunspear Glider, Classical Glider, also are 400 gems apiece. The Mini Packed Airship, the Mini Wyvern, the Mini Demi Beetlestone. Oh, sorry. The other two minis are 350 gems. The Mini Demi Beetlestone is 400 gems, along with the Mini Maraca Choya Pinata. And the mini Squire Arena are 400 gems apiece as well. So, are any of you guys picking any of that up? Or would you recommend anything if you've already got them?
I don't know.
I mean, the How to Dance one, you're basically getting an emote pack. What's that?
Yeah, minis are okay. If you want to finish like collections and get some free achievement points, that's good. Good thing to go for. I don't really go for minis because unless they're coming off with Polymox or whatever, I don't really care. I do it last minute.
I know Arlie's a fan of minis. But yeah, like Chat's saying, the How to Dance things has been fun. So that's basically now currently an emote pack since it unlocks as emotes. So.
My only curiosity now, though, I guess, can you still, I have to check, but can you still open the book to send an invite to another person to use the dance emote with you?
I think.
Ooh, I don't know.
I don't know, but my guess would be like when you use the emote for one of those, it would flip the thing so that then you could do that. Like,
right.
It would be a weird thing to like.
Oh,
take
Chad
out
is saying yes. Okay.
Punctuality.
I just wanted to make sure because I was gonna say like that was I guess the sell behind it was it's like dance kind of party book type thing.
But okay, the novelty is still available. The emote version is just an emote. Okay.
Gotcha.
I wasn't 100% sure with the switch over, but yeah, definitely check those out if you want to pick any of that up. Any other thoughts on Gem Store as a whole?
I mean, today I think I saw that someone put on Reddit that the character slots were on sale and some other stuff. So, I mean, if you want some character slots, you might want to make multiple chars, pick each legion so you can check out the different dialogues and the interactions with the latest living story. Because from what people are saying to us today is that you apparently get different reactions somewhat. So if you want to be really deep into the lore, you can check that out. Or if not, get you some extra character slots.
I thought I was safe with one for each profession, but no, you had to go and do this. But yeah, so definitely check out any of that stuff. Last up, we have Community Corner. Well, I guess not last up in this time because we'll have a spoiler section. But first, before that, Community Corner. And once again, we're talking about Chronicles of Tyrius, Summer of Short Stories. Every week until October 19th, a Guild Wars 2 community writer will publish a Guild Wars 2 short story on their website. This week's was A Fool's Hope by Josh. Let me get the... it just says by Josh. But okay, their Twitter is at Josh Squints, so definitely go show them some love. I'll throw, of course, the link in chat if you want to go read up about it. But yeah, I love like reading like I'd actually like to see maybe like what if I don't know if there's, I'm sure there's legal reasons. There's legal reason behind everything, but what if they went a little crazy and did like, especially for some of the more action fan stuff like this, but like if the fractals are supposed to be like alternate reality things that might have happened, never did, but what if they did like almost like fractal, like fan fractal things or something? Maybe they could do an event around that. That'd be kind of cool. Cause
that would be good.
Yeah, because I was gonna say I'd never seen a, like they've kind of done like creative contests for like art and like other content creators and like different avenues. I don't really remember a one about like actual writing, so that would,
you know, it'd be a fun contest is that let the players like obviously they can have it in any form or draw it out or imagine it, whatever, but have a player, yeah, like you said, like maybe have some players make like how they had the weapons where you designed the weapon, whatever, and we had it come in the game. Maybe make a design like one map or one boss fight for a raid or fractal, like what would the mechanics be, what would the boss be, what's going to be the mobs in there, what happened, you know, just like the setup. That would be cool because I'm sure there's like a lot of players who would like be into like environmental type of design ideal, and that'd be fun.
I would also like to see it paired with like maybe with someone like the finalists. They would do like a series of guild chats where they maybe have like some of the developers that work on that stuff and go, well, this couldn't work or this would, or like showing like their design, like I don't know, that'd be a kind of interesting way if they could. I know it's tough to pull all those devs away because
exactly
that's literally them not working on what they have to be doing. But yeah, no, I think that would actually be kind of cool now that I think of it. Like, come on, ArenaNet. That I would actually like to see that, like some of these like
yeah, and like if they won
stories
or whatever, maybe they can name the boss after that person.
Yeah,
kind of like Dolphy.
Yeah, Guild Wars 2 build a boss.
Has a character in that one fractal. It'd just be like whoever won.
Yeah, that would be awesome. Or they would be like your guy, like making a certain guide along the way, kind of like what we have in fractals, like the. So. Yeah.
Especially because now they got this strike mission thing. If it does work out and maybe they do continue this on the future line, there you go. That could be like another test sample that they could place your project in or whatever, you know, or ideal.
Yeah, I'm liking all that. There you go, ArenaNet. You can have that one for free, possibly.
Yeah, you're welcome. But I better be paid in a legendary. And it better not be bought from a gold site.
I was to say at least you're cheaper. I always say I want my set of legendaries unmarked mailed to me. So you're only wanting one legendary. So yeah, they're probably like shoot. But also in Community Corner, Gamers Giving Back. They have their Pink Day in LA, of course, which is going to be happening October 19th. They are also looking for people that want to volunteer their time. Remember, their volunteer meeting will be on Saturday, September 28th, which will be next week. But also, actually happening, I believe today, they're actually doing a little, their Quag and Waddle.
They're in LA. They were doing a Quag and Waddle while we were doing this podcast. So right now they're in LA from what their Twitter says. So
there you go. So yeah, you know, if you are watching live, definitely check it out. We'll probably even host them afterwards that way. Want to just stick around type thing.
Yeah.
But if it's still going, like we still have a little bit more show, but yeah, definitely a great cause. You know, I think we've talked about this all the time. Have been going since Guild Wars 1. I mean, I know I've talked about in the past, always giving ArenaNet kudos to them adding pink dye into Guild Wars 1 just so people could celebrate this easier. Because, oh boy, I remember the threads that would always pop up right around Pink Day LA. It's like, how do you mix the dyes perfectly to get pink? And it was so many different variations, especially on different leather, armor, cloth types. It's like, no, this one's the perfect one. No, I think mine is. And it's like, ugh. But yeah, awesome, for a great cause. I mean, it's just a fun event and great meaning behind it. So definitely check it out if you want to.
Plus, you can make
help out
some friends and stuff. I've always see stories of people. That's how like they find new friends, new people to play around and do things with, stuff like that. And like you said, it is for a good cause. Because screw like cancer crap, like ugh, the thing that a lot of us through family or some people themselves struggle or fighting or like beat or whatever it is. So
but yeah, since you are our guest, Kit, do you have any other community shout outs that you would like to give? Like,
I think you covered. Oh, did you do Ian's thing? Even though she's not doing all Guild Wars 2, right now they're doing like, I think it's for so long, she's trying to do a thing too for like, I think cancer research? Hang on, let me.
Okay, I thought that was slightly attached to the Gamers Giving Back, but I could be wrong. But yeah, no, we'll throw it
They're
in
like, it's
chat.
like they're all layered out together because we have the Quag and Waddle and the Pink Day and stuff like that. So, Day 5. Let me look.
Now, for people that aren't aware, Ian Maiden, who's I know in the past have done a lot of not just Guild Wars 2, but I know she's done I think some in the past ESO like.
Yeah, she does like almost all sorts of games.
Yeah,
ESO,
like some like helpful tips on like doing events and stuff like that.
Her guides are always really good too.
Yeah,
that's
and
what I was
she's
looking for. Guides. Wow.
Very, helpful, nice. Going if you even watch her stream, she's very sweet. Yeah, so she's doing it until they're doing World Child Cancer stuff.
Okay.
For them, and it goes on until the 22nd. So one more day. So I guess today would be the last day of it. But yeah, like you said, you just have to host, I guess, the Gamer Giving Back channel or something, or host the Quag and Waddle. I don't know.
Okay. Yeah, I meant just a general shout out of someone's content that you wanted to some people to focus on, which I mean, yeah, Iron Maiden does.
Yeah, basically what you said, because that's all right now. There's not a lot going on. I see there's competition stuff for Crichton of Harrow as well for the Breath of Ice cosplay competition. It's EU September 21st to the 21st, and then US is 22nd of September. And I guess it's like a fashion war kind of thing she's doing. So there's that going on as well. Other than that, there's not a lot going on. Everyone's kind of busy with the new content. And then as for me wise, I'm not doing anything because I'm busy moving. So
yeah, if you haven't followed Kit, she's gonna probably be pretty busy in the coming months, which we wish her a good journey and can't wait for her to return,
Moving is fun though. It's exciting.
Yeah. There's ups and downs.
Yeah. It's mostly for me, like once I get moved, that's fun. But the whole moving process is like, ugh.
Yeah.
But yeah. Well, we'll do a quick outro for people that want to avoid the spoiler stuff. But as our guest, Kit, where can they find you?
You can find me at Kit the Traveler on Twitter. Same thing with Twitch. Is Kit the Traveler. Website Kit the Traveler. Everything's Kit the Traveler basically. I just right now for content wise and streaming, I'm not going to be streaming for like the next 3 months. I might put a few like videos on YouTube, which will be under Kit the Traveler. Other than that, I will just be doing once a month Kit the Traveler Stories, which is a spirit successor of like Nicholas the Traveler from Guild Wars 1. Other than that, And that's where you can find me. I'll probably be tweeting every once in a while about game stuff to keep me busy with my mind of things going on. So that's that. And then I'll be back in 3 months, and then hopefully I'll be back on the ball. But yeah.
Awesome. And Robin, where can they find you?
You can find me on Twitch, Twitter, and Instagram at Arlie82, and writing columns all the time on MMORPG. That's pretty much where most of my writing is these days.
I love that the other day too. She was tweeting that she Radisum and Radisum. Like I do the same thing when I talk to people. I'll be like Radisum or Radisum, and they'll be like, "You mean this?" And I'm like,
"Right,
yeah."
Yeah, and it was great because nowhere in there did I talk about Radisum at all. It was all supposed to be Radinovis, but for some reason I switched them, and I was like, "Ah."
At least you caught it before you like put it, and you're like, someone's gonna be like, "Do you mean this?"
Like this person doesn't even know what the Azuran cities. God.
And do remember, like, we're gonna go into spoilers here soon. So while I'm doing my outro, this is like your moment to, get in or get out. But yeah, you can find me at simply_Deo on Twitch and Twitter. If you are just popping the very end, well, heads up, we're gonna go into spoiler territory. But we usually do after shows and stuff like that, so definitely tune in live, twitch.tv/MAAD, 2 A's in the MAAD. We're not just a Guild Wars 2 channel. We have a Warframe podcast me and Age have started. We have like a vote to kick thing, which we're trying to refigure that out, and we do have a couple more things hopefully planned coming up soonish. TM, going the Valve route. But yeah, you can find all that at madrealms.com. That's where we have the audio version of this podcast and all that stuff. Or if you prefer YouTube, youtube.com/madrealms, where the video will be. But like I said, if you want audio and stuff only, that's on our website. But yeah, I think that is it for non-spoiler stuff. So we are, as I update the title, let me update that information and put up the spoiler tag. This is your last moment. If I ever find the spoiler tag, because I'm bad at... There it is. All right. We are now in spoiler territory. So, where do you guys want to begin? So, Bram has hair again.
I'll wait until I see how far... I don't want to spoil it too much, so I'll probably keep my stuff a little back. I want you guys to enjoy it for sure, because it was really, really freaking good. So,
well, so one of the things is kind of a spoiler, but it's not a spoiler really if you've been paying attention to the stuff that ArenaNet has been putting out and stuff. But one of the early things you find out in the episode is you meet Ritlock's spawn. Lack of a better word. I mean, I don't want to say child because that implies our rearing practices and stuff, and the way that the Char do it is very different. They don't raise their own children.
Yeah, you learn that all through the map too. Each legion raises differently, and now that they're all brought in, their cubs are being trained and forced to do certain things. So.
Right. Yeah, it was really interesting. We saw that a little bit when Rox met the Omicron, because we learned that the Omicron do things completely different, and she was like, wait, what? I love that that's coming up again and being spoken of more directly in game. So that was fun. I really love everything with Bram in this episode so far. I'm on my way to go pick him up out of jail, basically, is where I got to, because he got really drunk and got in a fight, apparently. Which I almost died laughing, because there's one part where he's talking to you on the intercom and he's super, super drunk, and then he falls asleep in the middle of talking. I was like, oh, Bram. So, but yeah, that's about as far as I got.
He's had a tough time.
The other thing I really find interesting, and I'm curious if it's just a Char thing or if it's going to be everybody, but they seem to think that Aurene is at our beck and call and we control her, which
Yeah, that was
is
kind of
weird.
Yeah, it just seemed like everyone was just getting upset over it and
Mhm.
like pushing this like you control her, so you need to like do this or you need to get it under control. And it's just like, no.
Like there's one part, so very, very beginning, they're fighting this giant branded thing and they're about to kill it, and she comes by and kills it for you, and they're like, you just ruined our event, you know, like get your dragon under control, essentially. Was kind of the feeling, even though it was played off as if it was planned, but like everybody knew it wasn't, you know. So that was
Yeah.
interesting.
And I think I'm gonna wait until you guys are done. I'm just gonna say the ending is really good, and there's a reason why I feel like the arena is being brought up so many times and pushed so many times. So it'll be for a good reason. Well, not a good reason for them, for us,
Right.
whatever. But you'll see why they're building this up, and it's very interesting to me. So
Yeah. But
Well, one thing I was actually intrigued by was there's a certain character on the map that I think I brought it up a lot of times that they've finally brought back up. I wouldn't say fully addressed. Was Aris Weirdbringer, which was originally the Char that we saw in the Fields of Ruin during the Rift events. And if you remember, he was always talking about, I think it was 97, like I think is what he was saying. And apparently he's there at a, what look, is it a certain gate or is it just like a portal type thing? Like I think it's like some like weird device or something. Yeah, some gate. And so people have started to try to figure things out, and apparently if you people have been trying to take their class 1 or 2 rift stabilizers over there and mess with them, because why not? He's the one that gave it to us. But what's interesting, I think that the devs actually came out and said that not everything about this event has yet been discovered by players, and that it was not yet finished at that point, so it might continue later in episodes. But I think what people were saying
was he also saying about the Sarah, because there was two Char and Sarah talking about the fractal rolls too, and about like I guess the stability of fractals and like the other world, because like they were talking about it, and I was like, why are they talking about fractals over here? So I don't know if it was him or not, but I just know there was a Char and a Sarah standing together, and they were talking about fractals, and it was like kind of like just two scientists talking about like the possibilities and what is it and all this other stuff and what's going on with it. So
yeah, like theory crafting themselves like a yeah, I'm not sure if they were he was near them or, but
yeah, I don't recall. I'm trying to think.
But now I'm trying to remember. Isn't Aris technically, because he was dressed at least like a what are they called? Wow, like on so many names. Yeah, wasn't he originally dressed like a, what were they? Sky people, sky.
He was
Aetherblade. Thank you. Oh, he was a former Aetherblade. Okay, that makes sense. Thank you, Chad. I could not think of the name.
I was just like, Sky? Only thing I think of is
the Sky people.
Yeah, or Sky, the Sky so
people.
But yeah, and I guess it makes more sense now that he was a former Aetherblade, because that was the one thing I always was wondering about early on when you only saw him in the Fields of Ruin. It's like, if he's popping out of these mist like rift things, like portal type things, that's where the Aether Blades went off to, which we find out like a little bit more about here, that, and it might actually be time travel, is because I think since this has been put up, I thought someone said if you stand in the gate with the rift stabilizer for, I thought it was 97 seconds, that it teleports him away, like he disappeared,
Huh.
which makes you think maybe
Hmm.
maybe it sent him to the fields of ruin. Like, did he time travel? We don't really know where he went, but
Interesting.
I thought that's what I heard someone else say that happens now. Trying to, yeah, I'm not 100% sure, but maybe if someone has tried that, do let us know. But I can't. I'm kind of excited to see where they go with this kind of little side story, and especially since they say that it's not yet finished. So it sounds like there's more later on.
Well, and it's like Arlene said, there is a lot of dialogue around there because even just the char alone, like even the women char were getting pretty
Mm-hmm.
ticked off about this whole situation because I guess they're being forced to like come here and like basically produce these people's their cubs and stuff like that, fighters, because there's two by the Flame Legion event area. They're talking back and forth about it and how like they're mad, like they're
Right.
not.
Well, like there was those two, I remember them mostly saying how so the Flame Legion, the women didn't fight in the Flame Legion, but they did other things. But in
Hmm.
regular Char society, women fight. That's not unusual. So they were feeling like the other Char females were looking down at them because, they're like, oh, you're not a fighter or whatever. And like they didn't want to become fighters. They liked the way they were, but they also felt like they deserved people's respect because they did things. It's like it's a clash of cultures essentially, because the way the Flame Legion works is very different than the way the other Char Legion.
Yeah, even the male Flame Legion, there's two talking on the side about food resources alone. That's the
Mhm.
reason why they even came over, was because I guess
Right.
food was short and they didn't. So that was part of the deal. So it sounds like they must have had a food shortage or just not able to, which is
Yeah.
weird because like, okay, so what's going on with that area where the Flame Legion's at? Is there like the dragon part of the problem, or is it
Hmm.
just themselves? Like,
Yeah. I want to know more about that. Like, what's the situation
'cause it's
there?
just weird that there were these kind of like not baddies, but bad char in a sense, because they weren't really part of the Char Legion themselves. And then now all of a sudden they're like, here, we can't feed ourselves anymore, so we're desperate. Now we're here to like take whatever offer so that we can be fed again and taken care of again and not have to deal with that stuff.
Hmm.
And then I did like the Ash. I like the Marjorie. It's not really a spoiler because it's outside content still, but Marjorie and I think it's the Ash Legion spy leader or assistant or whatever. But basically in the tent, you can hear them talking back and forth, and Marjorie's just like likes how this char is, how they work and how they know all this information basically. And Marjorie's
Right.
just like, oh, I wonder how you did this. And then the char is a smart
Yeah.
ass and it's like, just like I know this or whatever about you. And then Marjorie's just like, very interesting. And like I said, there's that secret. It's not really a jumping puzzle. It's another secret room with the not tokens, but where you have to click the trees. And when you go
Mhm.
in there, Marjorie talks more about the Ash people and how like secret, like you learn a lot about them by just listening, like
Yeah.
just standing around listening.
Yeah, that actually frustrated me a little bit because that conversation, there were a few conversations like that when you were going around to each of the leaders to check in on them, where they're having conversations as you come up. But if you don't stop to listen, if you get too close, they cut off. And like
Yeah,
it makes sense and it works in game that it would work that way because like that's what happens. You're talking
that's
to
why I got
somebody, somebody comes up and you
frustrated with
go, oh.
the achievement for her, because
Mhm.
there's an achievement for her where you have to like, it's she says like, for example, she'll be like, which char in this room that you're in with her would be is a drinker or whatever, and
Mhm.
you're like standing around trying to like listen, none of them talk, like they don't talk, and then when you're far away all of a sudden you hear, but you're like, okay, well I need to get closer to figure out which char is talking because there's
Right.
several one of them, and then they stop like you said, like and you're like, So then you have to like run around and just click randomly trying to guess who, or I had to use the wiki at some point, because I was like, okay, this is annoying, because like I'm not going to sit here and wait for a dialogue to pop up. So
yeah.
And I know Shaman, I think someone else brought it up, but I guess like the audio was also just going in and out for a lot of people. Like it would like deteriorate or come on one side, or sound like certain, like the mailbox audio and stuff. So it could be just like maybe the audio is just
that
funky
could
right
also
now
be
for that map.
poor timing, in the sense of I've known from, if you've this is kind of unrelated to Guild Wars 2, but might explain some of that away, was this most recent update for Windows 10. If people are using it, apparently there's some weird bug. Well, they now did something that was in reaction to the manufacturer, like the audio chips and stuff. They I guess requested this, that is making such a big issue of like basically your volumes like auto adjusting, because that was happening to me.
But it won't explain why the NPCs are delayed.
Tuesday.
Yeah.
But I when I was trying to look up like why my stuff is magically starting to self auto adjust, I was like, what the heck happened? A lot of people were saying, I first saw it in the ESO one, and I think I saw someone maybe mention it in in a GW2 thing. But
yeah, I think it was Shaman for me. I saw he said about the mailbox being like looping weird or something, or sounding weird. So that could be, like you said, the Windows thing. As for the dialogue with the NPCs, I think they either need to change the time, or maybe change when like because I know when I was in QA, they showed like an example of like a bubble that's on the outside, and like when your character hits that bubble mark, the NPC is supposed to, do whatever, talk, move, whatever, welcome you. And I think either maybe the bubble's too small, big, I don't know, and it's like, it just seems like it needs to be fixed a little bit or tweaked for the next map, whatever they do, because obviously they're probably not going to go back and fix that type of stuff.
Right.
But yeah.
But yeah, so
but overall, the map was really good. The only other complaint for the NPCs is just hearing Bram's voice on most of the char. Like the unique char, like the women char talking, or the flame, like certain char definitely had their own unique voices, and I'm guessing they must be like the main story, kind of like here's a little bit of lore char type of thing. But like any of the other, like the guards or something that are kind of about, it's just like there's Bram's voice, like
like always.
Now, and I'll say here, like I didn't get a chance to play the story yet due to real life stuff, but and you guys are being kind to not spoiling it for me, even though I was like, hey, it's fair game, But I guess my question is, because I'm curious about this, for when I first saw the trailer, was did they even start to begin to go into Bram growing his hair back? Because that's kind of
they didn't really
actually talk about it.
They didn't talk about it, and plus Casimir's hairstyle has changed too. I think it's just like kind of like as we saw over the time, where like every time a new expansion came out, they're kind of like their outfits changed or their look changed or something like that. I feel like that's what it is. It's like a new, obviously not expansion, but a new era. And so my curiosity is like, how long is this time frame from like us killing Krakatorrik to now? Because hair doesn't grow that freaking fast, and it was pretty much a lot of hair. Like he has it in a ponytail bun, so it's like
and like
the time space between.
Yeah.
Well, I'm more curious
hair
because
is in a ponytail now, like a different style, like bump ponytail.
Well, at least with like Casimir and like the human culture, I don't think there's really any ties to that. But for Bram, the point was he shaved half of his head. We found out originally because his father died. Then he shaved
and then he shaved
all
of it for his mom.
So it's
that's
like,
what I'm saying,
this maybe
how
mean
fast
he's
does
over
hair
it,
grow, or time in like the time space? To me, I think it's cool that his hair's back. I don't understand why we're just like, was there something in the community that they didn't like that he was bald this whole time, that it had to be a point made several times? Because it was like brought up, even when he's drunk, he's like, I have hair, or like, or when you meet him, I have hair, and then at the end it's like, I have hair, and you're just like, we get it. You have hair.
Somebody else said something at some point. It was like, well, Bram has hair. And it's like, thanks.
Like, congratulations.
That would have been a funny like joke if like at the end of it, like you said, after the third time he does that, like the last time you see him in that episode, he was like, hey Bram, did Did something change with you? Like,
Yeah.
as like a sarcastic line, you just give it to him. Yeah.
Most excellent. I was gonna say the same thing. Her voice definitely sounds different. So I was curious. I was gonna ask Tom and them if they might have put a new voice actress for her, or if maybe it's just. I feel like it's also just the tone because she just, just like Marjorie and them say. I don't want to spoil it, but basically Marjorie and them talk at the beginning because it's right at the start.
Hey, this is the spoiler section.
It's not too much. It's not going to ruin like the actual story, but basically Marjorie just brings up that Casimir is still trying to get over the the POF situation of the gods leaving. So I think Casimir is just in a like, what do you call it, like a weird head. She's now like the Bram of this game, where it's like
Kaz specifically makes mention of when you have something that you believe in and it is your crutch, and like that is what you,
because her tone just sounded like Debbie Downer, but not really.
Because even when everything.
Yeah, and when she was trained, like when in the map, she's running around with the little cubs, and she sounds more, let's say, aggressive. Because before she was more cautious of like, watch out, blah blah blah, bubbly, and now it's kind of like, I don't know. It's just like she picked up a new like tone to herself or a new personality, and like you said, like Marjorie said, she's still trying to get situated and understand why the gods kind of just bailed out on us. So
and everything that happened with Balthazar.
Balthazar, exactly. Yeah. So hopefully it's just like, maybe it's just the tone of that person's voice and they didn't replace her, because it does sound like her accent is definitely different and her bubbly personality voice is different, but
I don't think it's a new person. I think it's just they're trying to convey that she's in a different spot mentally than she was before. Like that it's different right now for her.
And I think people are so used to hearing her be like happy, pappy, bubbly, or like, hiccups, I'm scared. Now she's like, I'm not freaking scared. Let's go. Like she was like, there's a little event with the Cubs and she's like, let's go. Like she's training them, throwing her illusions at them. And like, usually Casimir before would probably be like, oh, like, let's not do this. They're little Cubs. No, she's just like, gotta train you, gotta learn what's an actual enemy. You gotta, so.
Yeah.
Which I don't know. I kind of like that because from the sounds of it, it's like, at first, when we first kind of had her in the story, like you said, we fought an evil, which was Scarlet, and it's like she had the hiccup, she couldn't do anything, she was all scared and all that stuff. But it's like that. Granted, while she did pose a great threat, it was still like a human form of things. But now this is post facing two elder dragons face to face, like. I don't know. I like it because it kind of almost shows that even though you're fighting the Yellow Dragons, that changes people. Like,
because over time
seeing a giant dragon in your face, it's like.
Well, like even remember in POF, she dropped out because she couldn't handle facing a god, like one of her gods.
She couldn't face the truth of them doing what they were doing.
Yeah.
Even with Cormier, like she was super upset with Cormier, like just kind of like peacing out. She was just kind of like, why?
She 100% believed that Cormier would fix it, be like
save the day.
Take care of it. And then Cormier was like, this is your problem. You got to deal with it. And she was like, what?
Yep. So basically, I feel like, Ari says, I think it's just they're trying to set the tone, hopefully, because she just the way her actions are too in the game right now, and the events that you get to play around with her, it just it seems like she's the next kind of like, not really like emo or down, just like she's going through her emotions of like what the hell happened, like, and trying to figure it out. And that's what Marjorie even says overall is we're working on it, over time. So
and I kind of like it. I like that they don't have people like big things happen to them and then they bounce back and are right where they were before.
Exactly. Because that would just not be like a realistic ideal either of a like emotion wise.
Yeah, I think like even Bram, like after he went through his whole I'm angry thing and he's on the other side, he's not back to what he was before. He is still different which I think is good that they've held that onto that it's not just,
even Bram's really good. It seems like he's healed a lot. Like he's starting to feel better about himself. He's starting to feel, ever since the healing between you and him in that one like episode of just like, letting all that whatever, like I guess sorrow and frustration and anger, it just kind of like, this is good. This is a Bram that we kind of liked at the beginning, and the ones that most of the community enjoyed, because during the whole time while he was emo, everyone was just like constantly complaining, like, some people wanted him to be killed off at a certain point because it felt like a Traherne move. And
that was like, I think that was multiple because like, yes, he was a pain to deal with. He was annoying. He was frustrating. It was like, why don't you understand? But it was also, I think that was also a lot influenced by the fact of people not knowing the backstory, not knowing.
Yeah, and a lot of people thinking that because he's a Norn, he should be tough. And it's like, he wasn't raised only by the Norn. Like, he was also like with other people. Like, he's young. He's being with, like we said this a while back in a couple Skrit's episode, like a long back with Deo when he was talking about it. This is like, he's been around humans, Asuras, like his best friends are literally different races. Like, and they all come from different cultures. So it's a melting pot basically. And when you're young, you're going to grow and develop whatever it is, like.
Right. Well, that's what I was saying. Like, he had lost his dad pretty recently when we first met him. And I feel like a lot of people, since that story was out of the game, either didn't read it or don't know about it or have forgotten about it. And that very much fed into everything with Air, because he was upset with her and had a lot of resentment with her. And right before she died, they finally like patched all that up, planning to go on a hunt together. They were going to be good. He was finally going to have a relationship to her, and then she dies like almost immediately after that. And like, I think for anybody that would be a huge thing. So
and there's a thing on this story, that's why I don't want to spoil it. That's why I'm like trying to be quiet, because basically there's something important that's going to happen with his booty, and I'm just like, Bram, that's why you don't get drunk, you idiot.
Yeah. Oh, there is a really funny part where he's like, they're in a pit, him and what's Ritlock's cub's name? I forgot. I don't know why. Rydar or something.
I think so.
Something like that.
I don't even know.
Anyway,
I'm gonna call him BB.
He's fighting
Baby
with
Brimstone.
Ritlock's cub. They're in a pit together having fun, and he's all like,
Thailand. Okay.
Island. It's not Thailand.
Ryland. Yeah, Ryland. Yeah, okay.
And chat was actually
like,
saying with the jewelry thing, apparently it was the same voice actor.
Yeah.
Just changed the detective style.
But yeah, so they're fighting and he's drunk and he's like, oh, this is the most fun I have. And he's like, Rox, this has been the best day ever. And Ryland's like, who's Rox?
Yeah.
It was like, oh, Brad,
I was hoping to see Rox there. Like, I was kind of curious why they didn't bring also the, like, Rox and them over, because it seemed like they called all Char clans. But then again, I know they are separate because they wanted to be off and not be part of that type of culture anymore. Yeah. So it's just like...
I think the division between the Flame Legion and the division of the Omicron is much more different. Like, the division of the Flame Legion with the other legions is a difference over ways of they want to fight.
I think they even brought it up in the past that they didn't even like the way they raised the cubs too. Like, that was also brought up. Like,
the Omicron, it was like a whole rejection of the Char way, like of raising it, people, of being war focused. They say that, like, you know, they can fight and they can defend and they can do what needs to be done, but they'd rather not fight. And it's a completely different mindset. So I think pulling them together with the other legions wouldn't work as well as the Flame Legion does. Even that has its issues, but I feel like it's a much further branching than what the Flame Legion was.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's why I always liked the Char and Norn culture. Was I guess the Asuran do it too, but they house they have their enemies in the same town, like. Or they see them as equal. They're not really like their enemies. They're just, they see things in a different perspective and they respect it. But it's like, well, if you're doing something bad, we got to deal with it. Like, that's how they. So that's why I really found the Flame Legion interesting, because it's like you said, they're welcome to this thing because they are a legion. It's just they have a different perspective that doesn't really mesh well with the rest.
Yep. Well, and the same with like Ash has their own reasons why they're there, and also like and like someone said, like if obviously you play different tribes, they'll tell you that too, probably more details, because as a human running around, each one explains like what their culture is kind of about a little bit in detail while you talk to them. So it's a nice refresher. I was kind of hoping at some point, like I wish they kind of did, like obviously they're never going to bring season 1 back, so they have like that little video of like what happened. I think they should do that for each section of the game, just a little video, so that if someone hasn't played in a while, or if someone wants to kind of have like a actual brief lore update, they can just slap together a couple of the like kind of like they did for this the theater, where they slapped together like the POF events that led up to it, and then be like, here you go. So then as a player, you can be like, okay, this is what's going on with Casimir, this is what's going on with Irene, like a little brief detail, because not everyone goes to like when I linked the wiki, like a lot of people didn't know that there was separate legions and why and like the lore of it. So it's like, if you haven't touched your character in a long time and it's personal story, you don't know what's up anymore. So, and the Char have their own personal stories, and then the the Norn had like, you got drunk and you lost the war horn or something, or so it's like, if they're gonna dabble with these two things, they could maybe put some kind of like, I don't know, here's a history, or like a book, like the books that they put in laying around, whatever. Maybe like a little book just like, this is what happened.
One thing that I thought was funny was there's a part where you're talking to the Flame Legion, the Cubs, and like encouraging them to stick with it and that everything will be all right. And you had a choice of how you responded. I kind of missed the old little like crown and fist and like that. Like, even though all of those things at the end of the day, having that delineation matters not at all. I kind of missed that those weren't there, because like there were very different tones on each option for
they have it. What's weird is they have it in it's in there, but it's on like one of the like dialogue or questions or whatever, which is weird, because it's like, why are they still using it if it doesn't really matter? But maybe they just want, because it had 3 different answers. I don't remember which part. I don't want to ruin it. That's why I'm like trying to like think like,
well, if it comes up later, that's cool. Yeah, because I saw the Cubs and I was talking to him. I was like, they could still do that. I mean, I know it doesn't matter, but it's a callback. I miss, like, I know a lot of people like the more like the in-game conversations, the way that happens.
When those kids get real dark. Yeah.
I miss the old like 2 people in the painted background. Like, I know that's not realistic, and it was like,
right.
Thing, but I like the artisticness of it, like I liked that,
because it makes you feel like you kind of have a choice, even though it's not like the same ending. Like, and I like that. That's kind of like why I like even Telltale games or whatever. Like, you had sort of the feel that you had the choice, but even at the end, like, sometimes the path would lead differently, but most of the time it all lead the same way. But you made it feel you like, I have the power of what my story is going to be.
But I don't know, any other thoughts or things you wanted to delve into spoiler wise, or
just be prepared for like the ending. I know some people are kind of upset because they feel like it was kind of just point blank obvious of what's going to happen, but at the same time, it just brought back memories of Guild Wars 1, where it was either the first mission of Ascalon after pre-searing, where like the Char just like are kind of built up and chanting, like kind of like build up around whatever, and it kind of brought that memory of like, oh shit, something bad's about to happen. Like, this is not good, because we had, and on top of that, just like how this guy is trying to like push, it seems like he's trying to eliminate the treating of the humans and the like like rip it apart and go back to being just Char, do their own thing. And but from what we're being told is that the reason why around the neighborhood is because without this treating, the supposedly what's his face can't afford the supplies and the warfare. So
it's interesting.
Yeah, sounds.
But as for the rest, I can't say it because it'll spoil it for you too. So that's why I'm just gonna say that's all I gotta say is that it's awesome. It literally is really, really good. I really hope like it does. It sets the tone. I hope it continues going this way of just like the layout and stuff, and maybe like tweak a few things here and there. But other than that, it's like it's something different and something that makes me want to continue, like come back, like and play or whatever. So
yeah, I was gonna say it sounds like they're coming out real strong for, they're coming out swinging. So
and
I
the only
can't
other
wait to
thing
see
is,
how it goes.
for once, Timey's not in your ear the whole damn time. Like I love her, but she's not in your ear the whole damn time.
I loved Bram's little conversations that he didn't know he was broadcasting that randomly would pop up, and
oh my god,
Gork trying to tell him and Ritlock being like, nah, let him talk. It's cool.
Yep.
It was really funny. And then Gork eventually gets mad and he's like, can we please clear the channel? Gork.
Oh, that's amazing.
That was great.
It sounds like they're still finding that good balance. I mean, at least for now, because we're not into the darker side of it type thing, but it still sounds like at least they're able to have that comic relief without what sounds like Canuck, which I think were a lot of what people were like, Canuck's the only funny one, like, so
well, I will say Krisha is a cool ass char, and there is some history between her and Ritlock. I won't say also what else is the history of them, but because that's part of the story.
Well, if you read the Ritlock story, you know about like the mission they went on together.
Well, I mean, there's some other details.
I know the other details, but I'm just saying.
Okay, yeah.
You know some of the details.
Yeah.
Other details go away.
I just like how they like. Well, I don't know how far you're in, but when they get to that point and really like, they basically address that they are who they are with each other, then it like cracks me up because it's just like they have to go after someone in the end together. So
wait, so you said she's there. Ritlock has a kid. Are we getting a Jerry Springer moment?
Yeah, basically. But I won't say much because it's really good. It's just interesting how like it's just like I said, it's interesting how they raise the cubs, because it's like it doesn't seem like a mom and dad thing. It just seems like
that's not
off on their own.
Not how they do them.
Yeah,
they all go off to their bars and are raised as a group. It's interesting. I also really, really liked so we've said that Ryland's Ritlock's cub, and there's two chars that you pass at one point who make a comment about him and saying, well, he could have gone either way because his mom's solid, but his dad is always a loose cannon. I was like, aw.
Yeah, I love her. She's got a good personality to her, so I can't wait to see how she grows into if they continue bringing her into the game, because I know sometimes people just come for a bit for like the part of the story and they're gone.
Yeah.
So.
I hope they use her a lot. It'll be fun.
Well, I think that's as much information I can pull out of you two, because you're not telling me anything.
I'm walking on eggshells because it's like it's mostly just the ending is just amazing. I can't explain it without spilling it. Like I'll spoil it for Robin.
Like I said,
so
unfortunately,
like
real life stuff came into play. I'm hoping to
once you two play it, and then by the time you guys are all done, by the next talking Skritt, hopefully you can be able to spill all the beans and chat with you, being like, yes, this is what happened, all excited with you.
Yeah, just like most of these, like when a new story comes out, we'll probably have like 3 episodes following that'll have a spoiler section, because more and more people will want to gush about it. So
well, the question will be also is like, now that we have the prologue, how long is it going to be before we get
exactly. That was my question. Like, I don't know if did they even say like if it's still going to be 3 months? 2 months?
I think they said that they've moved away from that schedule because they realized that due to the various constraints, the keeping to that schedule was causing other issues and issues with quality. So I believe they've essentially, if not outright, said that they're not sticking to the 3-month schedule.
Yeah, because a lot of people are thinking it's going to come in November.
Yeah.
Which,
I mean,
because it goes back to what we were talking about, I think it was last week, was they said they wanted to bring out content like something content-wise once a month.
We also don't know how much they actually already pre-done. Like, could they had like made a big old chunk, and then, because when did they actually get started on this? How usually most companies they start on a project a year before. And then like get going. So could they have a couple big chunks ready for us, and then maybe that's why people think November?
Well, and is like when this is part of like what I was saying, where often devs are working a build or two ahead. Like usually when putting the finishing touches on one story chapter, they're already well into the next one and all of that. So like, I don't know. It might be different too, because I feel like the prologue is a bit shorter than what a normal chapter would be. Like, I feel like the chapters are usually a bit longer. I could be off on that, but it feels to me.
It definitely did feel shorter, but it did give enough juice and detail to fill your needs, and like the map itself and the environment. So like they did a good job this time around to kind of like give you a little bit of taste of everything. The only thing I would say is, like, if you were a new player, like I said earlier, and you don't play a Char or a Norn or know the history of why Ash and all them act the way they do, or why they treat their cubs, like that's the only issue I would see a little bit. But if you're a vet player like us, we're good. We can handle it. So maybe hopefully they can add like I said, books or something to kind of be like, here you go, like, or here's go to the, like, it'll maybe like give you a little detail and then be like click, because like they have /wiki, like maybe they can just go click and it goes to the link of like that lore or whatever to kind of give you a history of what's going on.
Yeah, that'd be cool. And like Chad is saying, like, we need to help spread the, I don't know if it's old. See, at this point, so many Char puns. I don't know if they're saying old Char lawn or old character lawn. So into human territory. But on that note, I would love to see, like, because they said that during this thing it wasn't all going to just be new maps. What if like they're going back to some of the old maps and some of the Char are taking out, like, trying to go into some of the human territories? I mean.
I wish I could say something, but I'm just gonna shut my mouth now. So you're just gonna
see. I feel bad.
I'm like sitting here like, oh man, I just want to say what's gonna happen.
I mean, I said fair game. It's
no, because it's like,
okay.
You just have to see, because I want you guys to experience the, like, oh my god, magic stuff. Like, just trust me. You'll thank me later, because if I sit there and tell you, you're gonna be like, you'll get to that point and be like, damn, Kit already told me this shit. Now it's real.
See, I probably would have said that as soon as you said it, just for a joke. Be like, man, I wish I would have actually saw that. And you'll be like, no. But all right.
That's why I'll wait until you guys are done, and then like when I do, like, I'll be watching while I'm at like my mom's, and I'll just be like, whenever you guys bring up, I'll be like, finally, you guys finally made it. So let's talk about the deets here. So.
Darn you, Kit, trying to be a good person and experience the content.
Trying not to spoil it. I know Twitter is all over the place. People's posting everything. That's why, like, when I posted my picture, I just posted it behind a crystal. Like, no NPCs, no nothing. Because I was like, you know what? This is not spoiling anything. So I was seeing people being like, people are always spoiling and putting pictures up and everything. And I'm just like, I'm just going to stand by this pretty crystal. That's it. Like, nothing.
Oh, that just told me everything. I know everything now. There's crystals.
Oh, my. Not crystals.
Rocks and crystals and trees.
Wait, rocks is there?
Else in the game.
Or not that rocks. Oh, darn.
No.
But yeah, I think that should do us for this week. For people that stayed the whole time, I don't know if you guys want to do a more thorough outro, but Kit, where can they find you?
You can find me on Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube on at Kit the Traveler. And basically for now I'm on a little break, but once a month I will be doing Traveler events still. Other than that, nothing really new with me, so that's all.
Awesome. And Robin, where can they find you?
As always, Twitch, Twitter, and Instagram at Arlie82. Yay.
Awesome. And once again, you can find me at simply_deo on Twitch and Twitter. Hopefully, if there's no other environmental issues, I'll hopefully stream this stuff that Kit's so nice to not spoil it for me tomorrow. But and I don't know. If you are just popping at the very end, stick around. We'd probably do a bit of an after show. I don't know how everybody's time frames are looking, but always best bet is to show up for pre-show because we usually always have time before pre-show.
Yeah.
Because I have to go and start packing some more stuff. So.
But no problem there. We'll probably host. I know we were talking about gamers giving back or the other not send off for the one dev. So we got a lot of options to host possibly to keep everybody entertained if they're showing up live, which is twitch.tv/MAAD Tweets in the MAAD. We go live 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific. Like I said, if you want to show up a little early, we do a bit of pre-show. If you are just watching this, we do highlight it on our Twitch page. If you prefer YouTube, it goes up on YouTube, youtube.com/MAADRealms. If you want the audio version of this or some of the other shows we do, we have a Warframe podcast. Those are up on our MAAD Realms website, maadrealms.com. And I think that is it for this week. So we'll see everybody next time and in the game.
Bye-bye.
Good night, everybody.